And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internet, all over the mainstream media, social media, everywhere. There's a lot happening. Shout out to Adele for sticking it to the woke crowd, for telling them what's real rather than what's fake in a very classy way. Not too preachy or nothing like that, just saying some obvious things that nobody should really be upset about. We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, shout out to woke ESPN. They are who we thought they were. And shout out to Project Veritas for exposing them for who we thought they were. We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, what's going on with these guys, these rappers and everybody else, these celebrities, crying about not getting service in high-end establishments, the Gucci store. You want to spend $29,000 and they don't want to take your money. Why cry about it? If I got that much money, I don't need to be there wasting my time trying to get them to take it. We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, shout out to the new New York City Mayor Eric Adams trying to wage a war on rap music. I mean, are we going back to the early 90s or what? Is that going to be the solution for the recent, as in the past year, uptick in crime? I think not. Well, we'll talk about that. Also, Heather McDonald, did she have a red pill moment? Unfortunately, it almost cost her her life. We'll discuss. We'll talk about all of those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet, so I appreciate you guys. If you like what you heard thus far, if you enjoy the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up. Also, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. We got a whole lot happening here. And if you want to hear this particular podcast on the audio streaming platform after we've concluded for tonight, the link will be in the description box. You can find me on Apple iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, etc. Again, link will be in the description. If you're listening to me right now on an audio-only platform, please give the podcast, not the video, please give the podcast a 5-star rating or review, whatever you can. I most certainly appreciate it. And before I get into the topics, as always, shout out to my sponsors. Y'all know how I do. Shout out to myself. My two websites, ablmerch.com. We got hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more. Check it out. New stuff coming soon. I could put up new stuff whenever. I might do it tomorrow. I got a little bit of time before the game, so I may do that. But check it out always, ablmerch.com. Bookmark it. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Go ahead and get on it. Also, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to my website. Anything you want to know about me is on there. You got my email address, my snail mail address. You got my social media platforms, my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter. All that's right there on the website. And for every video that I produce, I write an article. So I have all my sources listed very clearly. It's not necessarily right wing or left wing or independent sources. They come from all over the place. So, you know, I'm not just making stuff up. All right. I always come with the receipts. I always hit you with the facts. So go to my website, anthonyblogan.com. Also go to bhedesigns.com. That is BHEDESIGNS.com. If you want one of these beautiful handmade wooden flags that are right behind me, you could get ones just like those or your very own custom made, whatever the case may be. Go to bhedesigns.com and get yours today. Also, we got patriotpost.us, the best source of news and information anywhere on the internet. A lot of y'all ask me, hey man, what's the best source of news? Like, where you get your news from? Can you give me a good news source that I've not heard before? No mainstream media, alternative source? Well, look no further than patriotpost.us. Check them out. They've been around for a long time, 25 plus years. Very, very well respected. patriotpost.us. Check them out. And all my links, everything, all my sponsors, my website, the whole 9 yards will be in the description box below the video or somewhere in the description section of the podcast you're listening to right now on the audio streaming platform. Now, where do we begin? We got a few things to address tonight. Man, I kind of want to talk about, man, where do I want to start? Okay, let's start here because Heather McDonald is going to be one that's going to, I got a lot to say about that I did not say in the video. So let's start with Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City, trying to ban certain kinds of rap music. We're going back to 1992, see Dolores Tucker, Eazy-E, NWA, Ice Cube, East Coast versus West. We going back to that. A lot of you guys weren't even born when that was happening, and we're going right back to it, right? So let's start with Eric Adams talking about he wants to ban certain kinds of rap music. Now, there's a brand of rap music called drill, and I'm an old guy, relatively speaking. A lot of you guys are much younger than me. So if I'm wrong about what I'm saying, y'all correct me, please. I always stand to be corrected. I'm a humble guy, put it to you that way. But anyway, so drill music is violent, as is a lot of rap music. Not all rap music is violent. I've heard Christian rap. Shout out to Bryson Gray, and some guys I know back in Virginia. Corey, Christian God, shout out to y'all. I've heard some Christian rap music. I've heard some meme rap music, just talking about anime and silly things like that. Then I've heard, obviously, the gangster rap, the disgusting type lyrics or whatever. I've heard that too. Now, drill music, from what I know, is different because they disrespect people who are dead and those that they have actual legitimate street problems with. So let's say, for example, you're in XYZ gang and your rivals in the other gang you don't like. You go to the studio and put that on the record. I don't like XYZ guy from XYZ gang. I'm going to shoot him like his dead homie. They find his dead homie in the bag on the highway. Like they talk about things that actually happened. I saw one video of a guy. This guy, man, I've seen this more than once. I saw one dude did it and it became a trend. The guy was rapping at his rival's gravesite, like literally at the gravesite. It might have been, who was that? Lil Yo. It was Black Youngster with Young Dolph. He was rapping in front of a tombstone that said Thornton, and Young Dolph's name was Adolph Thornton. So stuff like that, that's drill. And if I'm wrong, again, y'all let me know. Anyway, so Eric Adams, the brand new mayor of New York City, hears about this kind of music from his son because his son works with Jay-Z over at Rock Nation, which is like a record label, basically, or a quote-unquote management company. So he's hearing about this music and how a lot of the young guys in New York City are really into it. Like, as far as legitimate street beef, there was one guy, what was it, Nick Blicky? It might have been Nas's artist. I'm not sure whose artist he was, but this guy wound up getting killed. Another guy with the same kind of name, I think his name was Nas Blicky. Anyway, he got shot, but he didn't die. Now, if you don't know the term Blicky, that means gun in New York. All these slang terms, I'm getting old. Y'all too quick for me. It's a new slang word every day. I got to keep a whole glossary of these new slang terms, right? But anyway, these guys have the word Blicky, the word gun in their name. That's like being named automatic assault weapon or something like that. Just some silly stuff, right? So the point is, guys are getting shot behind what they put down on the raps. So Eric Adams says, you know what I want to do? I want to form some kind of task force. I want to go to Mark Zuckerberg and whoever owns Twitter now. I want to get them to take these violent rap videos off of their platform because it's contributing to violence in the city. But check it out, Mr. Adams. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't think violent rap music helps these particular areas, but I don't think that if you could just wave a magic wand and eliminate all violent rap music, I don't think that would really change things. You understand? Because there's been an uptick in violence over the past couple of years. It's not because of rap music. That's because of the whole defund the police and hands up, don't shoot and no catch bail. They're over there arguing in New York City. They're arguing about whether an armed robbery with a pistol should be a felony or not. If you're talking about stuff like that, then you're going to have more crime because the people that the criminals are going to be emboldened. If you can rob somebody with a pistol and you won't even go to the penitentiary for it, it's nothing. I mean, people will just take them chances. That's not even a penitentiary chance anymore. That's a slap on the wrist chance. You might even be able to get out and flee. Again, I've heard about regular white guys in the hood fleeing to Ireland on a drug charge. So these guys are fleeing, they're leaving New York City. If they get caught with something, they probably won't get remanded. They'll just go ahead and, oh, no bail, I can just get out. Okay, I'm out. Or if there's no bail, they can get right out. They'll go do the same thing again. Because even if they do go through the process, they won't really get prosecuted properly, and they're going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. So I don't think that trying to ban some rap song off of Twitter is going to change that dynamic. You understand? And the biggest place with the highest increase in homicide, I think, in 2020 or 2021 was Portland, Oregon. Now, I don't know about y'all. Like, you guys tell me, what is the rap scene like in Portland, Oregon? When I think Portland, I think Portlandia. I'm not sure who the guy was that was the star in that. I've never seen that show. But I'm thinking about hipster white guys that might shoot crack every now and again, or shoot heroin or fentanyl or something like that. That's kind of what I think about when I think Portland. I don't think about violent street gangs when I'm thinking about Portland, Oregon. I don't think about guys with the name Blicky in their name. I don't think about rap, violent, kill gang like New York City, Philadelphia, Detroit, and Portland. Yet and still, Portland, Oregon had the highest increase in homicide during the whole defund the police X, Y, and Z. They were the ones that had the whole 100 days of the assault on the federal building, which was somehow not even really a big thing. But January 6th was worse than 9/11 and Nagasaki and Pearl Harbor and everything else. But different story. The point is that I don't think rap music impacted Portland, Oregon. So what are we talking about? Okay, what's the rap scene like in some of these other places like Minneapolis? Is there a hot Minneapolis rapper right now that's causing the violence in the streets? Or is it the whole defund the police movement that caused the homicide to go up 50%, 75%, 200%, 800%? Like, yeah, what's going on? Exactly, bless veteran 87. Who were the rappers in Chaz Chop? Was that taken over by rappers, or was it Antifa, some cracked out Antifa members in Black Lives Matter who might dibble and dabble on the drugs a little bit as well? That's the actual problem. You have unfettered drugs, no accountability, no prosecution. You have these violent, dangerous offenders that are allowed to roam the streets and do whatever they want to do. That's the actual problem, Mr. Adams. So I don't see how this makes any sense. And then going back to Eric Adams, he's talking about law and order. He wants to curb gun violence, but yet you got to get your man in check. Alvin Bragg, the DA, the newly elected DA, you got to get him in check to make sure that he's going to prosecute people. They had to announce that, oh yeah, if there's an armed robbery with a pistol, then that'd be a felony. Like that's some kind of accomplishment. It's like, well, congratulations for having the brain a little bit, for doing what makes sense. I guess we got to reward people right now for having the brain and punishing a crime like that as a felony. I mean, why wouldn't it be a felony? How could that not be a felony? You take a pistol out and rob somebody? I mean, come on. And I was also hearing that they were saying that if there's a burglary at someone's home, but the family isn't there, then it'd be just a simple like trespassing or something like that. I mean, just crazy stuff. Like, if you go into somebody's house with a gun and you take things out of it, I mean, if like, let's say, for example, there's one person there rather than zero people, you go from a home invasion with a deadly weapon to trespassing. That seems kind of odd. My point is that we have laws on the books. We have ways to curtail crime. And let's start there. Let's take baby steps. Let's start right there by following the laws on the books, enforcing existing rules and regulations, rather than trying to create new ones that are not going to work. So yeah, shout out to Eric Adams. Let's just tighten up a little bit. That's all. That is all. But yeah, my last thing about rap music, this violent rap music, I'm no fan of it. I'm not trying to necessarily defend violent rap music, but I know that's not really the culprit behind all this thugging and drugging and carrying on. Because again, the highest increase in homicide, Portland, Oregon, ain't no rap scene in Portland, Oregon. Who are the violent rappers? Like, come on, let's be real. How many of those heroin addicts are also rap stars in Portland? Like, let's be real. Okay, there's deeper problems in society that's causing a lot of these issues, and the problem is a lack of law enforcement to be to do their job. You have leadership trying to basically hamstring the law enforcement. You can't operate like that. Can't do it. If I live in a place that's talking about trying to have police reform, I'm leaving. I'm moving on the first thing smoking. We don't need police reform. We need people reform. How about that? If you got a whole a flock of people that are high on drugs, don't care about life, they don't care about their life, let alone your life, trying to move the goalposts to blame the police simply makes no sense, because you have an obvious issue right here that needs to be addressed. And if you don't address it, it's never going to be fixed. It is what it is. I was watching the video today, and it was this guy that's living in Skid Row from Virginia, and he was talking about how back in VA, it'd never be allowed, like a Skid Row would never happen in Virginia. You could never have like this whole big encampment of people that are homeless on the streets. Because in California, especially, what they do is they subsidize them. They give them benefits and rewards and trinkets and whatnot for staying right there in that spot. They keep them, they kind of manage it. It's like a slum, basically, that's state managed. That'll never happen in Virginia. Never. If it does, the state is falling. A big camp like that, the most I would see in Norfolk was if I'm riding down like downtown that night, like Church Street, somewhere like that, or like some of those big old churches they got like right there on St. Paul's, I may see 1 to 3 people that are right there homeless, sleeping with a blanket over them. A blanket, no tent, no big crazy amount of stuff, no crack hut, a blanket. Maybe they got a book bag under their head as a pillow. That's it. These big encampments looking like third world slums, refugee camps, are not normal. When I first saw that in California, I'm like, what in the world is this? I was floored. I'd never seen it before. I may have seen one camp in like a movie or something like that, like a little, not a camp, pardon me, like a tent, maybe 1 or 2 like in the movie, but to see that like in real life, I was completely shocked. I'm like, this is America, where you could just sleep on the ground with a tent and have dozens of them, hundreds of them just lining the street like that, and they all on drugs. How can you have a society that operates properly with stuff like that going on? You can't. Yeah, and they're handing out crack pipes. That's a crazy. I've never seen that. And the funniest thing are the Democrats trying to defend the whole crack pipe situation. Oh no, man, it's a smoking kit. They got chapstick and pipe filters, but no pipe. It's like, so they got the pipe filters and chapstick and all kind of other stuff, but no actual straight shooter crack pipe. So, I mean, come on. They got crack pipes in the whole thing. And I think Jen Psaki said there was never crack pipes in the kit. It's like a smoking kit to have safer smoking, safer drug ingestion, whatever they want to call it. It doesn't even matter if there's specifically a crack pipe in there. If you got a piece of glass that could be a crack pipe, that's a crack pipe. If it's for smoking, quote unquote, safely, is what it is. And there's really no such thing as smoking crack safely. Or, if you can smoke heroin, I don't know nothing about that. But if you could smoke meth, heroin, and crack, that's not safe. Because if you hit it and overdose and die, it's not safe no more, is it? If you use these drugs and go out there and commit some kind of heinous act because you're out of your mind while you PCP, stuff like that, if you go out there and do stuff while you're on the drugs, it's not safe no more, is it? But anyway, I digress. The point is that these people are crazy. These people are totally nuts in the federal government and also local government. They're not doing what needs to be done to get the stuff fixed. And you know what? I'm going to say this. Here's what I would say as far as my solution. No more welfare state. If you commit a crime, go to the penitentiary. I'll be very tough on crime. Ain't going to be no more of this. Oh, well, he was a good boy. He just trying to get his life on track. Ain't no more of this soft sentencing and stuff like that. If you commit the crime, do the time. Period. If you cannot do the time, then don't commit the crime. Be a good person. All right. Work for a living. Do honorable things. Yeah, and ain't gonna be more of these. Ain't gonna be no more career criminals. Revolving door or justice. That ain't going on. Welfare state gonna go away. Just career criminals not gonna be able to be having a career, committing crimes, victimizing people. It's not going down. Not going down. Not at all. And certain crimes that I won't get into right now are going to have much harsher sentences, and you could pretty much put two and two together and get four on that. So I digress. Thank you for being here tonight. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. If you enjoy what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Now, shout out to Adele. All right. Shout out to Adele. I like her song Hello, but I like the Go-Go Music remix. Look that up when you get a chance. I think it's Backyard Band. And by the way, Backyard Band, Anwan Glover is in Backyard Band, and he was Slim Charles on The Wire. Fun fact. But anyway, I like her music. I like the covers and things of that nature that she has. Now, she's also probably the biggest, the biggest music star of today. I would say so. Like maybe Beyonce, someone like that, be up there with her. But she's the biggest one. Her album, what was that, 21? It's sold comparatively to like Whitney Houston and people like that. Meatloaf, like some of the top albums of all time, she sold. And in the era like right now, in the 2000s, it's very hard to do because nobody buys music anymore. Back in the 80s and 70s and whatnot, it was different, even in the 90s. But ain't nobody buying music. Everybody has an Apple iTunes subscription or YouTube Music, something like that. Like I have YouTube Music because I have the premium thing just for what I do. I can't be having commercials and whatnot when I'm trying to play videos for you guys or for myself when I'm recording. So I also have YouTube Music. And if I want to hear anything in the music, I just use that. Right? So that's what it is. Hold on. Hunter says, why did you lie about Biden giving $30 million for crack pipes? Well, the documentation says these are smoking kits. And in the smoking kit, you're going to have stuff like crack pipes in there. And the documentation said that preference will be given if you need to apply for the monies to get these things, because it won't be given to just regular people. It's a fund, and you got to be some kind of like nonprofit or something like that to apply for it. If you are minority or LGBT, you'd be able to get preferable treatment. So it is what it is. I mean, if you got a problem with Biden giving out crack pipes, that's not my problem. Talk to him. I think they fixed that now because of the outcry, because of the backlash. Oh, and also when the story first came out, the goal was it was a harm reduction grant. You understand? And the whole point was to hand out pipes so those people who would shoot drugs would not shoot and they would smoke. Because if you shoot, you can catch HIV, obviously. You can still die of an overdose while you're smoking your drugs. But anyway, I'm getting off point. I'm going to go back to what I was saying. Anyway, interrupting my whole thing about Adele. Anyway, Adele, one of the highest rated artists of all time. Now, for her to come out and say what she said on the, the Brit Awards was fantastic, magnificent. Oh, and I got to explain what happened. I don't know if I did that last time. But so I got to back up. Let's back up a little bit as far as the Brit Awards. Now, the Brit Awards used to have male artist of the year, female artist of the year. That's what they used to have at one point. But Sam Smith, who's also a British artist, he had that song called "Stay With Me." Anyway, he decided to become non-binary. So he says, I'm not either male or female. So last year, 2021, when they had gendered awards still at the Brit Awards, he was not on any of the gendered lists. Because again, he says, I'm not male or female. I was like, all right, well, if you don't fall into either category, we're not going to put you on either one. That created a problem. Now he's like, look, why am I not being accepted? Why am I not on the awards? Blah, blah, blah. So like, okay, we have an issue. So rather than just saying, you know what, all right, man, you can kick rocks, do your business. What they did was change all the awards to gender neutral. So that's what it was. That was it. So now, rather than having male artist of the year, female artist of the year, it's just artist of the year. Adele did not like that, obviously, because she went on stage and said, hey, I know they changed the name of this award, but I enjoy being a woman. I enjoy being a female artist. I don't see nothing wrong with it. And then the crowd erupted into cheers, as they should, because Sam Smith, just because he identifies as non-binary, it changes nothing. And it's unfortunate that a whole award show had to cave to one person, just one person. But that's what happened with Adele. And I'm glad she said what she said because it needed to be said. And I hope more people like her to have a big platform because, again, you're talking about one of the biggest artists, if not the biggest artist of our day, like one of the top selling artists of all time. Definitely the top selling artist in the past, I say 15 to 20 years in the world, not just England, UK, America, the whole world. One of the top selling artists of all time, and definitely in the past 15 to 20 years. So she has a big platform, just like when Rihanna came out with that shirt that says, think while it's still legal. Oh man, that was humongous. That was humongous. And I think she did that because Nicki Minaj came out and said a few things about what's going on with everything, about the vax and whatnot. And then they tried to call Nicki Minaj crazy, talking about, oh, you said that it causes your stuff to get swollen. And then there was an article that came out talking about that it may cause something like that. It's like, okay, today's conspiracy theorist is tomorrow's philosopher, tomorrow's sage. That's kind of what's going on with what we got going on right now. So anyway, shout out to Adele for keeping the auto wave real. We need more like her. We need more celebrities to speak up because the thing about celebrities, like I don't think people should idolize celebrities, but they do have big platforms. It's like me. If I have a big platform and I say something, it can reach a lot of people. Whereas a regular person who is just, going to work every day, taking care of their family without a big platform, what they say may not go as far. You understand? Just like the whole thing with Heather McDonald. I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into Heather McDonald. And if anybody wants to come in and debate later on in the show, we're going to do that, but you're not going to ruin the format right now because this is a podcast as well. So we could do that later. That'd be a good little debate for after I do my monologue. But Heather McDonald, you guys may have seen what happened. Maybe you didn't. But I'm going to show the video if I have it right quick because this is pretty important to the whole situation. Matter of fact, I think I have it. Hold on one second. I do have it. Let me go ahead and pull it up. And if you like what you're hearing so far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And, here we go. Here we go. Let me go ahead and just turn that down. And matter of fact, is it on YouTube as well? Yeah, I got that. We ain't going to do that way. And, okay, cool. So here is, now is it going to play properly? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Let's do it. So Heather McDonald, I'm not necessarily familiar with her. She's a comedian. Apparently she's a pretty popular comedian because she said that this show that she was on was sold out and she had 2 more shows lined up after this that were both sold out. And she had meet and greets that were sold out. So I'm not sure what she's doing as far as her comedy or what kind of niche she's in. I heard her jokes on this. I can't say I cracked a smile, but that's fine. It's not for everybody, right? Some may love her comedy, some may hate it. But regardless of what she was doing the show, and things got really weird right around this time. Let's go ahead and play the video right quick. Hopefully the sound's not too loud. Okay, no sound at all. Hold on. You guys may hear it, but I can't hear it. Let me just tighten up a little bit and get everything going. There we go. One more time.
I don't mean to brag. I don't care, but I want you to know, double vaxxed, booster, flu shot, and I'm going to be honest. I have the shingle shot too. And I still get my period. What? Yes. Traveled, went to Mexico twice, did shows, meet and greets, never got COVID. Clearly, Jesus loves me the most. Seriously. So nice. So nice.
So right here, it's about to fall. Now, if you notice, let's go back a little bit. When she was doing a little joke about or maybe like Virtue signaling about the shot she got, she was standing in one place. Just one place, did not move at all. So I think maybe right there she's feeling kind of dizzy, kind of lightheaded. Because, okay, let's play it out. Then I'm going to kind of go back and talk about it. So
clearly, Jesus loves me the most. Seriously. So nice. So nice.
And then, boom. So there was some laughter from the crowd. They probably thought it was part of the skit. They probably thought that she was talking about she got all these shots and she's boosted and whatnot, and she fell out to just punch it to say, oh, yeah, I'm fine, but now I'm dead. That could be part of the joke. But no, this was not a joke at all. She really fell out and she cracked her skull. Now, luckily, she is relatively okay. When she went on Dr. Drew's show, she had on these big sunglasses because she got 2 black eyes from that. This was really scary for her. She could have easily died right there. Now, let's go back. I'm going to also show when she was on Dr. Drew.
And I did get...
Now, this is her after the whole situation. You see she got the big glasses on to cover her eyes. She has 2 black eyes right now. And she's talking about her booster when she got it and more about that.
And I did get the booster, which I had double Pfizer and Moderna booster, 3 weeks to the day of the fall. Is there anything that you've seen about time-wise? Because, when I asked the doctors about that, they said, oh, normally... Okay, go ahead.
2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks is where you see a lot of this stuff.
So basically, she was saying, look, I got my shot about 3 weeks to the date when I fell. And he's saying, I've heard people complain about side effects in that same time frame, about 2 to 3 weeks.
I have a friend that got the booster, and he got really destroyed by it. He still can't walk across the room. He's having all kinds of symptoms. There's a lot of funny stuff. We don't really know what it all is and where it's coming from, but it's still worth doing it.
I think not, sir. I think not. Like, if I see something like that, like, put it to you this way. If I'm Heather McDonald and I'm all like gung-ho talking about I got the shot, I got the booster, I got the shingle shot, I got everything, and I fall out on stage and bust my head open and I almost die, I'm like, well, I'm not sure it's really worth it, because if I'm dead, was it worth it? I think not. So I don't know about that one. I think he's got to say that. He's probably on television right here. I'm not sure where he is, but he's got to say that. But just being a regular person who is not beholden to a network and their rules and restrictions and things of that nature, if you see that happen to somebody and you say it's still worth it, does it make sense to you at all? I think not. I mean, if you want to go ahead and get it, then go for it. If anybody wants to get the shot, I'm not saying don't do it. If you want it, go ahead and get it. Free country, free world. However, if I'm Heather McDonald and I'll almost die because I fell, and maybe the reason why I fell could be linked to the shot, I'm not saying that it's still worth it, because, I mean, if I'm dead, why does it matter? But I digress.
I'm not at the point where I'm saying that it's still worth the risk, but it's got a lot of funny side effects, and syncope, it's called. Fainting is one of them, and I think it's from the POTS syndrome, POTTS. And so, I was worried. What I wanted to check was to make sure you didn't have any evidence of myocarditis. When you were, that's why I wanted that, which is an inflammation of the heart, and it changes the way the heart muscle functions a little bit. And that's why I was red hot on that echocardiogram.
Now, if you get myocarditis, that's really common nowadays, especially with like young men. They get myocarditis, and let's say they're out there performing in athletics. They're out there on the soccer field, which is very high cardio, right? Myocarditis, messing with your heart, is very high cardio, your heart pumping, but at the same time, it's kind of compressed because it's inflamed. So that can cause problems with your blood flow. And if you're not getting proper blood flow to your body, you falling out. That's how it happens. You start breathing heavy, all that kind of stuff like she was doing, and they fall out. I'm not saying she does have myocarditis, but it sure looks like it. I mean, if I was a guessing man, if I was a betting man, I'd most certainly put all the chips in the table on that one. If they had a gun to my head and say, hey, ABL, does she have myocarditis? If you guess right, you die. If you guess right, you live. If you guess wrong, you die. I'm going to say yeah. And I'm probably going to live.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
So,
what can I do now? Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm going to get the 4th booster, though. I will say that.
there is not, there's not yet evidence. There's not science for that yet.
I'm done right now.
If you were 80, we'd be talking. I literally talked about it to my 75 and 80-year-old patients this morning that I was telling them, I think you're going to probably need it. You don't need it. There's no evidence for that. But the other thing that happened is you got a multi-million-dollar stroke workup, man. They did so much. They did an MRI, MRA. They did vascular studies of your neck and your heart. They did a great, huge workup on you. You must have been in that MRI scanner a lot.
Yeah, I think I went in a couple times, and then they did ultrasound for the heart and the neck area. They came in, and I mean, I didn't know. I mean, that was my scary thing when they were like, "Okay, you're going to spend the night in the ICU," and I was like, "Oh, geez," And then they're like, "And we have to give you this sponge bath and all this stuff so that you're ready to go in case we have to do a procedure." And I was like, "Whoa!" And I did.
That's what happens, man. That's what happens. So it's like, all right, yeah. Now you'd experience that. It's unfortunate that she had to go through that kind of experience to kind of think and kind of question. Because I think that before this happened, she probably was the type of person that would just take it and not ask questions. Oh, okay, I'm gonna get this shot, and then if I get the shot, I'll be safe. That was probably her thought process, without really thinking too much, without really doing a whole lot of second guessing or any kind of independent research or getting a second or third opinion from another doctor. She's just taking it because of all the fear mongering and of what the government have done as far as this propaganda campaign. Oh, it's safe. It's all good. No side effects. It's all right. And then you get it, and then you have this weird thing happen to you, and you like, well, what's going on? And you're not getting straight answers. So now you got a question. But that should have been done before the fallout rather than afterward. You understand? But I'm glad she is now coming to her senses. I mean, she almost died, but it is what it is. Things happen. Things most certainly happen, but we'll keep moving. Now, she fell on her head, and like the trauma of the fall probably messed her face up. You understand? Because she had 2 black eyes as well. So that's probably why her face looks kind of swollen. That's why she had on those big glasses to cover her eyes up. Now, also, this could have been what happened to Bob Saget. Could have been, potentially. Now, have you guys seen the cause of death for Bob Saget? They're saying that it was like blunt force trauma to his head. Let me see if I can find an article right quick. Give me 1 second here. And that seems kind of odd and suspicious because when he first died, I'm like, okay, what happened? Was it a heart attack? Like, I was kind of curious, but I don't think that his death was necessarily one that really caught a lot of attention. You understand? I'm not sure that he had the vax or if he had been vocal about it. You see what I mean? Bob Saget is a well-known person, but in reality, he's not necessarily well-known right now. So his death kind of went under the radar, unfortunately. Now, here's the article from New York Times. Bob Saget died after hitting his head, family says. The comedian and former Full House star accidentally hit his head on something and then went to sleep, they said. So here's a possible scenario. Bob Saget faints. He's in the hotel room. Maybe he's in the shower or something like that, or in the bathroom. Cracks his head on some porcelain, some towel or something like that on the ground. He may have even passed out, but he comes to. He doesn't feel too bad. Got a little bit of a headache because he fell and busted his head, but he didn't think too much about it, so he went to bed. And then he died because he did hit his head very hard and he had a brain bleed. Now, why did he fall? What happened? They're saying he hit his head like he just bumped it. Like, when I had my RAV4, I'm a pretty tall guy. I'm 6'3". So when I be going to Costco and loading my RAV4 up, I got the gate open, and I'm bumping my head in that gate every time because it's just in the way, and I'm not judging my distance properly, so I'm banging my head on the tailgate, or if it's a chandelier in your house and I'm not really paying attention, I'm banging my head on that, but it's not going to do a lot of damage. It's just, something real quick. The tailgate might hurt a little bit, but it's something real quick. It's not going to hurt really. I'm just hitting my head on it. Now, what could cause you to hit your head so much that it causes a brain bleed and you die in your sleep as a result? Being upright and falling straight to the ground and having that force from your height up. He's a pretty tall guy. He's like my size, like 6'3", 6'4". Having that force from you going up at a straight angle all the way down, that'll crack your head open. You might die as a result. So I'm not saying that this happened to Bob Saget, but the family is saying that he hit his head and he died as a result of a brain bleed. So why did he fall? Did he have the shot? Is it myocarditis involved? I'm just trying to figure out. Now, it was weird now how they're talking about all these waves of death. They talk about, he hit his head and that's the reason why he died, but they won't mention other things he had going on at the same time. With the virus, it'd be something silly like, okay, he got hit by a motorcycle as a pedestrian and he died on the scene, but because we tested his blood and he had the virus, that's a virus death. So although he was hit by a motorcycle and died as a result of the motorcycle hit, since he had the bug, it's a virus death. They won't do that here. They won't say, he had myocarditis and that contributed to it because he ran out of oxygen or whatever. His blood wasn't pumping properly. He fell out, hit his head, brain aneurysm, and he dies. They won't say all that. They say, he bumped his head. Come on, man. Like, let's be for real. Let's be for real. Let me see if I can find a little bit more. Was it at the back of his head or what? They're not saying in this particular article right here. No signs of foul play, all this, that, and the third. No drugs, no alcohol, nothing. So what happened? No foul play, no drugs, no alcohol. Why did he hit his head so hard? If he was not under the influence, if nobody hit him in the head, what happened? Let's just ask the question. And it hit him on the back of the head too. So if you are walking forward and you hit your head on something, that makes sense, but it won't be that much to actually hurt you, really, unless you are banging your head. But the back of your head, it reminds me of, who was that? Was it John Ash, the Clinton, I guess you would say affiliate, who died with weights on the back of his head? It's like, how that makes sense? So he did something like this number right here with some weights and he killed himself. Is that what happened? Come on, let's be for real. Or the weights were like this big and they fell and hit him. Be really serious. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave that right there. But y'all can just put 2 and 2 together and get 4. It don't take too much to really figure it out. I'm just asking questions. That's all. And if it's wrong to ask questions, then so be it. It is what it is. Now, let's go ahead and go to my next one here. ESPN. Shout out to ESPN. ESPN sucks so bad. It really does. It's terrible. And I'm glad Project Veritas went ahead and exposed them because they needed to be exposed. ESPN, it's no longer the Stuart Scott era, the same Keith Olbermann era. Those days are gone, long behind us. Now we're in the woke era. The problem with being woke is that you got to be racist and you're going to offend everyone at the end of it. See, they're trying to be like Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot, lean in, all this and that. They want to be more liberal. They want to be more woke. But that creates a toxic work culture because you're racist against whites or non-blacks, but really whites, racist against them. Like they're getting comments talking about, there's too many white hosts. These comments are being said at ESPN. That should not be allowed on the workspace at all. It's racism. If you're racist, you're racist. Ain't no such thing as reverse racism. It's just racism. It don't matter if you're black, white, Puerto Rican, candy stripe. It's all the same thing. You could be racist against somebody that's white, the same as somebody that's black. Now, they want to change definitions in Merriam-Webster, talking about, oh, it's power and privilege. What's that got to do with it? And you know, the thing about it is, the funny part about that, the whole power and privilege argument is, if you're talking about just a regular person, what power and privilege do they have? And they want to accuse like the poor whites of being racist against blacks. What power does a poor white person have? What privilege do they have? Same thing with a black person. A black person probably has more privilege than a white person if you're talking about the same level class-wise. Really, it's a class issue, quite frankly, because black folks that have money don't want to be around black folks that don't have money. And if you got money as a white person, you're not trying to be in some holler in the mountain next to a poor white person. You don't want to do it. You want to kind of be separate. It is what it is. You're not necessarily going to look down on them, but you don't want to live next to them. If you have money, if you're able to move to a nice area, you're going to do it. And if you don't do it, well, good luck, because you're going to be a prime target. If you, like, for example, I'm not sure how it is in some of the more rural areas, but let's just say you are in an urban inner city area, right? Everybody's poor, everybody's broke, and you are the only one to make it. You're the only one to make any kind of money, and you pretty much strike it rich. You go from being just abject poverty, Section 8 welfare, just barely getting by, barely surviving, to a millionaire. You cannot stay there because people are going to attack you. You're going to become a target. Some are going to leave you alone. They're going to respect what you got going on, but not everyone will. And if you're in a densely populated area, like let's say a housing project, it's too many people that have nothing to lose that don't mind risking their life to take what you got. Risking their life. Matter of fact, here's an example of what I'm talking about as far as the whole class issue. Now, this happened in Atlanta, of course, nowhere else but Atlanta. And I got to show you this right here because this kind of behavior is what I do not want to be around. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Y'all give me 1 second. And in the meantime, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Oh, man, I got to find that video. Hold on. Now, as I'm looking for it, what happened was a woman went to a bank, and I guess she was not able to get her money out, or what she thought was her money out. And then things just totally went downhill. It totally went downhill. And she hopped over the teller area to take money. Now, I don't know about y'all, but where I'm from, that's called robbery. You go to the penitentiary for that, for sure. That kind of behavior I don't want to be around. But see, that person has zero to lose. If you're hopping over the area where you actually are able to, like the little reception area, if you hop over that and take money from a bank, you don't really care about your life. And people exist like that all over the place. And if you're in a bad neighborhood, poor neighborhood, they're everywhere. Not everyone's gonna rob a bank, obviously. That's not very common to happen. Like not every bank is gonna get robbed. Everybody in it. It's not very common, but it does happen. It most certainly does happen. So you have to leave that area, because rather than that person robbing the bank, they're gonna rob you. That's what ends up going on. I've seen it. I've seen it with a little bit of money. You might make $35,000, and you wake up in the morning, you make $50,000. You become a target. You know, I've seen people get killed over $20. I've seen people get killed for people get killed for nothing, for a wrong look, because somebody having a bad day. I've seen that. I told you about the story about the hitman. There was an actual hitman, a legitimate hitman in real life, no video games. There was a hitman who should have still been in the penitentiary. He was in jail for like 12 years in Atlanta, and then he came to Virginia to continue his hitman career, because I think before he went to the joint, he was also a hitman, meaning legitimately, like literally he was getting paid to kill people, right? So he goes and commits like, I think 2 murders. This is found out later by the police. They were able to investigate or do whatever. He commits 2 murders. Now, on his 3rd murder, he was he was on the scene, but he missed his target. The guy wasn't there, or something happened. He couldn't kill the guy. So there was somebody else randomly there waiting on his daughter to come out of the apartment and take her to work. This was like 12 o'clock at night. She had a night job. So the guy was so upset, he decided to kill the guy that was right there as an innocent bystander, just because he was right there and he wanted to get the frustration out. See, that kind of thing happens in these areas, so you cannot be there. Now, I forgot where I was going with that, but my point is you got to roll out. You have to roll out. And what was I talking about? Was I talking about ESPN, or was I talking about class issue? I got deep into, I almost got lost in the rabbit hole. But anyway, it's a class issue. If you have money, you want to be in a neighborhood with money. If you don't, you can't be anywhere else other than in the place that nobody has any money. Y'all on the same level. There's bigger differences between the classes in the U.S. and the races. 100%. Because if you're a white person growing up, like let's say you grew up in Miami, Little Haiti or something like that, you're going to be the island boys. With the funny hair and all that, you're going to be like that. But if you grow up in the rural area, you're going to be mudding and driving trucks. The culture in which you grow up in, the class, the area, that's more important than your race. Period. Bottom line, there ain't really nothing else to it. But everybody's all caught up on race. It gets weird when you actually got to put it into practice and it doesn't work. It's not going to work. It can't work because it's not really reality. So ESPN trying to be woke, trying to be all cool. And then as a result, they get people that are disgruntled, unhappy as they're going to be. How can you be happy in the place where everything's based on race? And the people that are supposed to be helped, the black folks, they don't like it. They don't like what's going on. They're like, man, this ain't really what I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to be in charge. I thought the white man was going to be my servant, but the white man is not my servant. He's my colleague, and I don't like him because he's white. And they're racist because they're white. And the job ain't doing anything. The job's not helping me out. They said Black Lives Matter, but I can't tell. That's kind of what's going on with ESPN, and they exposed that from Project Veritas. Now, it's predictable, though. It's totally predictable. And this is why I say that there shouldn't be this focus on race. It causes all kind of problems. That's all it does. It really ain't nothing else to it. So a lot of these woke corporations are going to have a problem with this in the future. This kind of toxic work, this toxic work environment, it's not really going to, it's not going to work out too well from my point of view. Yeah, black guys ride horses too, for sure. Black guys go fishing. You know, we do different things. It's not like, you see what I'm saying? They want to divide us in these little boxes, but it's not really going to work, because in reality, people are different in that. That's not how things are in the actual world, right? But I move on from that. And again, if you like what you're hearing so far, if you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed the content tonight, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Hold on, let me see. I'm gonna find that clip. I'm trying to find that video the whole time. I think it was in Beaufort or somewhere. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Now, the person is so crazy, I don't think they even understood what they were doing, meaning they probably didn't realize that this is a bank robbery. They're thinking that, okay, I'm just getting my money. They own my money. They took my money and all this and that and the third. Now, I guess the story was she had deposited some money. Like, they're talking about like $13,000 she was trying to withdraw, but she was overdrawing on her money. So what she did was decide to you see what she's doing? This is a woman, just kind of bulldaggery, hopping the customer service little thing, and she took money from a box. It was like $700. Took that and left like it wasn't nothing going on. Bare face, no pistol, just ridiculous rage. You see this?
New tonight, an outburst at the bank ends in a bizarre robbery. An angry woman climbs over the counter, unlocks the cash drawer, and snatches stacks.
It happened.
Casually walking out, little little stroll. You know what I mean? This is not right.
At a Chase Bank location in Gwinnett County. CBS 46's Alan Devlin live in Beaufort tonight. And
yeah, Rick, Sean, it was so abnormal that everybody inside really didn't have a clue what was going on as it was happening. Of course, this woman got angry, jumped the counter, and grabbed a pair of scissors. Take a look at this video. Oh, my God.
Oh, scissors? Yo, you going to the penitentiary. Armed robbery, bare face. They got your identification. They got everything. They know who the person is. They know where she live at, where she's from. Oh, man, it's over. You're going to be making big rocks and little rocks immediately.
To see what happens next.
I think if someone is jumping over the counter, there might be a mental illness there.
This is a different style of bank robbery caught on video in Beaufort, leaving everyone watching speechless.
Give me my money that he just withdrawn.
Check this out. A woman jumps the counter at the Chase here on Beaufort Drive after police say her credentials didn't match the account she was trying to withdraw $13,000 from. What? And then to make things worse, she gets into a fight with the employee behind the counter, eventually grabbing a pair of scissors from the desk.
Since they actually had that weapon, that elevates it to another level.
Oh, yeah.
Brandishing them towards the man.
I understand you.
Look at this. I don't want to be around that. I don't care what color you are. I'm cool. I'm cool on that.
To help out the company you work for, but the best thing you can do is get away from that individual. That amount of money is not worth a life, and scissors, that could be a deadly weapon.
Police say the woman, who has not been identified, then takes $750 from the teller's drawer. And then look at this, casually walks out of the bank, cash in hand. Gwinnett County Police still searching for the woman. If you know anything, you're asked to call police.
Yo, federal penitentiary, you're going away forever. Big rocks into little rocks. I mean, that's a Gitmo type thing right there. Bareface with a pair of scissors, strong arm. Oh no, you got to go. You must go. I wonder if you had your man from New York City on a case, would she even go to the joint? Probably not. It'd be, oh, she didn't know what she was doing. No, that's a bank robbery right there. But so caught up in the emotion, don't even understand what's going on. Give me my money right now. So you hopping over the joint, taking the weapon and threatening somebody, unlocking the cash box and stealing money, cash, which can be traced, of course, but whatever. So I'll move right along. Thank you for being here yet again. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, go ahead and get a video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And speaking about that kind of behavior, Jim Jones. Now, he did not rob anybody. It was kind of the opposite. You see, while she was robbing the bank with a pair of scissors, strong arm, in the middle of the daytime where everybody can see her with her face showing, Jim Jones was trying to give the Gucci store a bunch of money, like $29,000. He's in the Gucci store and they're not paying him any attention. They're ignoring him, allegedly, from what he's trying to say. Now, if it's me, I don't really care too much about, I don't like high-end fashion. Personally, it's just not my wave. If you like high-end fashion, that's more power to you. I'm not trying to hate on nobody for what they spend their money on, but me personally, that ain't my wave. Okay, even if I was a multimillionaire, I'm not going to do it. I'd be like Elon Musk. I mean, what is he wearing? He's wearing like Parasuco jeans. I don't know what he's wearing. He's wearing some other kind of stuff, but he's not really wearing like high-end fashion, at least not when I see him. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some of these raggedy looking t-shirts could be worth $1 million, but I don't know. But anyway, I'm not really into the high-end fashion, but some guys are. Now, I understand if you're a rapper or some kind of entertainer, you may want to have the costume on, right? It's like if you're a preacher and you got your gown on, I understand because it's what you do. But me personally, I'm good. And what I'm definitely not going to do, regardless of entertainer or no entertainer, I'm not going to go to a place that's not really trying to take my money. Or if I feel that way, I'm not going to go there. If I'm trying to spend $29,000 and they don't want to take it, then why would I continue to go there? Matter of fact, let me see if I can play the video right quick. Not the entire thing, but I want you to get the gist of what was happening here. And this is Jim Jones, a rapper from the group called Dipset back in the day. If you my age and you listen to rap, you know what I'm talking about.
We've been in Gucci for about an hour, right? And we in Gucci in the VIP.
We've been in Gucci for like 2 hours.
Right? Since we came in here, having nobody came and showed us no courtesy, no amenities, no nothing. Period. Not even a drink of water. Asked to speak to manager. Send me a black guy out here that start telling me some bullshit. So they got the black guy racial profiling on black people. Asked to speak to a manager bigger than him. Everybody disappeared. Ain't nobody come out yet. I still ain't getting no sparkling water. I still ain't getting no champagne. I still ain't getting nothing. I didn't have a salesperson inside of my VIP suite the whole time I was there. I had to keep screaming for VIP people to help me out. Now everybody don't know where the real manager is. You heard? I'm tired of this.
But here's the thing about it. Hold on, let's let him continue.
We spending all this money as entertainers inside these stores. They hire these black people, and these black people are more racist than white people when they get their job.
Bing, bing, bing. There it go. The racism word. Let's end it right there. Let's go ahead and pause right there. Okay. Now here's my thing, Jim Jones. Now, if you're gonna spend all this money, $29,000 in a Gucci store, and you've been waiting in there for 2 hours, you're playing yourself. I'm not waiting for 15 minutes. If I'm in the store trying to spend that much money and it's a long wait, I'm out. I don't care. I don't care if it's racism, if they're understaffed, if they just can't see me. I don't care what it is. It don't even really matter. I'm not going to be there for that long trying to give them my money. It's my money. I got the power. I got the leverage. You need my money. I don't need nothing. I don't need anything in here, but you guys need my money. I'm going to go somewhere else. Period. I don't care. No, I've done that. A restaurant is talking about, no, okay, it's going to be a long wait. How long? 20 minutes? All right, I'm out. Bye. Oh, you don't got this dish today? You don't got this ingredient? All right, bye. It's nothing personal. It's just business. It's nothing else to it. I don't care nothing about nothing. Okay, so if I'm in his shoes and I'm not being waited on for 2 hours, I'm going to go somewhere else. And it was funny because he invoked the whole racism card, right? And he was kind of getting trolled on that on Twitter by a lot of black folks saying, hey, rather than being in Gucci, support some black designers. And he responded talking about, yeah, I do that, but check it out. I ain't trying to hear that right now because I got to get my drip right. I got to get fresh. So I want to go to Gucci. It's like, yo, if they're ignoring you, why are you so pressed to go there? You can improve this by going somewhere else. If the rappers and whatnot kept going to Gucci and they kept getting disrespected or whatever, and they keep shopping there, why would anything change? Let's just say they don't like rappers and they're ignoring you on purpose. Let's just say that, which they're probably not. They're probably understaffed, which is the whole world right now. Anywhere you go, understaffed, everywhere. All over the United States, probably a lot of the world as well. Not China because they got slaves, but anyway, they're understaffed all over the place. If they don't like you guys and they're ignoring you on purpose, at a certain point, you got to just take the hint and go somewhere else and spend your money. It's so simple. I'm not spending 1 red cent if I got to wait 10 minutes, period. I'm not going to a Gucci store at all. But I don't know, man. Guys just not using their brain, really. At a certain point, is it racism or is it just you just not using your noggin for more than a kufi rack? You have a kufi or whatever you got on. You got a beanie or a kufi or a hat. You're not using your brain for anything else other than decoration purposes. That's it. So yeah, all this racism talk, I ain't trying to hear that. Like, it's 2022. We passed all of that. We're trying to prevent it from coming back at this point because what's going on right now in America and parts of the West is that rather than there being racism toward blacks in any kind of way, we're trying to go, how can I say it? I got to just say this properly because what's happening right now, they're trying to go back and bring racism back. In the absence of racism, they want to bring it back so they could be a victim again. If that makes any sense. You see, because after civil rights, you had integration. There was no more separation between blacks and whites. You could do whatever you want, marry whoever you want. It was all good. Now they're trying to bring that back, having these black-only spaces, minority-only spaces. They're trying to bring it back now. You go to college, okay, Asians over there in this part of the dorm, blacks over there in that part of the dorm. because there's nothing to actually be upset about when it comes to race, you got to recreate it. That's happening right now today, 2022. Okay, and they're being openly racist against whites because, again, there was no racism like in the 90s. That wasn't really a thing. Racism, not really. You know, not you could tell a race-based joke and not really be seen as a racist to a certain extent. But now you can't. It's just so weird. It's totally weird. But I move along on that one. And yeah, super chats on deck. I'm going to get to those right quick. Then we're going to get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. I'll get to the calls in a few minutes. Y'all just hang tight. Super chats on deck first. And let me go ahead and get to the first one just to make sure I'm on the right page here. All right. Oh, and shout out to my man, Israel Adesanya, a.k.a. Stylebender, for defending Joe Rogan. If you guys want to see what he said about Joe, go to my Instagram page. I would play it right here, but it's a lot of cussing going on, and I ain't trying to have the cussing, get played. But Israel Adesanya defended Joe to the fullest, and I appreciate him for doing that. He's a Nigerian UFC fighter. I guess you would say Nigerian New Zealander, because he was born in Nigeria and raised there until 10 years old, and then he came to New Zealand, where he's still today. So I'm not sure how that really works. But regardless of what, Nigeria born, New Zealand living, just defended Joe vehemently, and it was fantastic. Fantastic. And who's going to really say anything to his face that he's wrong? You got some naysayers on the internet, but who's going to really step to a UFC fighter and be like, you're wrong? Ain't nobody going to do that. I'm not saying he's going to beat somebody up just because they have a different opinion. I'm just saying, who's going to have the audacity, the bravery to go do something like that? Nobody. All right. Make sure I got all my supers here. And today is the 12th. And let me see. Just make sure I'm on point. Okay, we good money. We're good to go. Thank you to Michael, who says, Salty Army Lincoln, Nebraska, president and accounted for. Also, Alec Baldwin needs to make a movie with the cast of The View. Changed my mind. Also, who wants to hear a bunch of old hens clucking anyway? Thank you to Josh, who says, what's up, ABL? Have you seen the article from Fox about Hitler Reid's campaign was paid to infiltrate Trump Tower and the White House servers to link Trump to Russia? I've not seen that, but I'm not surprised at all. Not in the least bit. That totally makes sense. Right. Hold on one second here. And shout out to GJJ for becoming a brand new supporter. Shout out to Darius for your glasses, cool emoji. Thank you to Brian Hack, who says, I bet in 2025, hindsight I would say in 2022 was the end of World War III. The West thinks of war as a physical fighting, whereas the Chinese fight first through culture. We are winning, I think. LGBFJB. Well, that's a really good point. That's a really good point about Chinese fighting through culture. I think the Chinese are fighting us economically because they make everything that we purchase. And they also fighting us through social media. TikTok is like a weapon. Okay, that's straight a Chinese product. 100%. They can say, oh, it's run by the U.S., whatever. They ain't nothing but a shell company. It's, at the end of the day, it's owned by the Chinese. Period. That's just what that is. Shout out to Michael Guest, who says, common sense, gun control, keep firearms out of the hands of Alec Baldwin's Democrats of society. Also, thank you to Stan's mom, who says, easiest police reform, have the officers police the communities they live instead of working out of town or your own personal community. I don't see how that makes any sense. That's not really going to help, really, because at the end of the day, you're still an officer. The police aren't the problem. We don't need police reform, period, at all. The problem is the prosecution, the judges, things of that nature. Laws not being followed, laws not being enforced properly. That's the problem. The police are not the problem at all. They don't need any kind of reform. They have so much on their back because everybody got a camera phone. Everybody's all scrutinizing them. They don't need reform. People need reforming. Laws need reforming. Because you could be an officer, arrest somebody, do your job, get them to the place where it should be, and then when it comes time to sentence, when it comes time to prosecute, slap on the wrist. So you got officers out there just pretty much going fishing, catch and release. Let me see. Shout out to Michael. I can't read that one, Michael, but thank you for that, though. Thank you to Nicole, who says, do you remember the Prince spaghetti commercial from the 80s? Lady says, Anthony, I don't remember that, but I'm going to try to find that commercial. I've never seen a Prince spaghetti commercial, meaning like the artist Prince. I've not seen that. Thank you to Mortimer Duke, who says, keep fighting the good fight, comrade, compadre. Blessing. Thank you for that. Thank you to Tom's Water Wonderful Views, who says, if playing Russian roulette and a 1 in 6 chance of dying, does that mean one should play the game? I think not. Not at all. That's too much of a chance for me. 1 in 6 chance of dying, that's not really good odds. Michael says McDonald is a Democrat. She's thick enough to skull recover fully. Hashtag FJB. Zoraida 84 says, do you like Eric Adams? Do you think he is conservative enough to bring back the Giuliani days? Not at all. Not in the least bit. He's trying to go after rap music. Meanwhile, the problem is lack of prosecution. I mean, we got to get down to the core of what's going on. He may have some good ideas, but ultimately he's still a liberal from my point of view. Thank you to Nicole, who says Bob Saget had boosted just before he died. He says it in his podcast, number 125. They say he died from a head injury, maybe after a seizure from the booster, possibly. Or myocarditis, like a blood flow, you fall out, hit your head, and it's a wrap. Thank you to Apple, who says, God bless J6 MAGA Patriots in DC jail solitary. Writer 84 says, what's your opinion on Marcia Taylor Greene? I mean, she's cool. I have no problem with her. I think she's a cool person. I like what she is doing, checking things up. And she is like right next door to me, really, because I'm in like North Georgia, Tennessee area. So I literally live right next to her district, like way up North Georgia by Chattanooga. Like, I think her district has like Fort Oglethorpe and stuff like that. So yeah, she's like right next door. So shout out to her. I've not met her yet, but I know I will, being in this area. Let me see. Thank you to Doug Ripley, who says, ABL, what is a safe smoking kit exactly? Since Bruhman in the chat can't even explain it. A safe smoking kit is tools to smoke or shoot your drugs that are quote unquote safe, like syringes, crack pipes, etc. Apple also says Ray Epps is a Fed, defund FBI and Capitol Police. Also, ABL, love your color polo shirt, favorite color. I don't know. I don't really have a favorite color. I would say green more than anything else. Probably green. Not because of money, because of nature. How about that? Green. Military, like a olive green, military green is my favorite. I almost did my house in green, but I didn't want to be like, you know, and everybody has green, so I'm like, nah, I'm cool. But green. Kofefe Coffee Lover says, ABL, you heard about HIV and some jab doses? I've not heard that. Now, I wonder why HIV will be in the dose. How does that happen? How did they put HIV in the jab? Are they reusing needles? What's going on? Nicole says they would have the FBI all over a death with a head injury. Why not Bob's? It's a good question. You know, they instantly said no signs of forced entry, no foul play, but somehow you got a massive head injury to the point where you died, and it's not really suspicious. What's going on with that? Also, Apu says, ABL favorite sandwich. Do I like soup? I like soup when I'm like feeling under the weather. Get some of that Vietnamese soup, that pho. It'll change your life. If you've not had pho yet, please do so. PHO, if I'm not mistaken, do it. And also, sandwich or Reuben. Give me a nice Reuben, I'm good money. Matter of fact, when I was probably about, how old was I? I might have been old or young, I forget. I might have been like high school age. I don't know how old I was, but I was a younger man. And I went to this spot called, and it was downtown, called the Jewish Mother back in Portsmouth, Virginia. And I didn't know what that was before. I was reading the menu, looking at sandwiches to get, and I saw the Reuben. I'm like, okay, it looks pretty good. Let me get that. Man, changed my life. So yeah, let me get a good Reuben. I'm good money. Mortimer Duke says, hands up, don't shoot. Pants up, don't loot. Mark Stravino says, ABL, who was your favorite news host? Jim Acosta or Brian Stelzer? I'm going to pick neither one of those. My favorite guy is Tucker Carlson. 100% Tucker Carlson. Also, Lone Star says, your subscriber and fan Anthony McQuaid wants to be a moderator. I vote yes. All right, ain't no problem. Let's do it. Shout out to Noah Garcia, who says, ABL, I told my friend that he looked like a baby grand piano. He looked so hurt. Thank you for the sneak diss. Hey, man, hopefully that'll motivate him to lose weight, because if you're that big, you got to tighten up and lose some weight, because that ain't really going to work out too well for you in the future. Thank you to Josh Foss, who says, who you got tomorrow night? I'm hoping Joe Burrow can get it done. Yeah, Joe Burrow all the way. Let's go in and get her done. He's on the Bengals, right? Yeah, shout out to the Bengals. Let's go in and get it rocking and rolling. Bo versus Windshield says, Idiocracy was documentary of the future. 1,000%. Idiocracy was, I don't know who wrote that. What was it? The guys behind Beavis and Butthead, pardon me. King of the Hill. Mike Judge, I believe. They did a fantastic job. I'm sure they probably get asked about that every day now. Like, have you seen the country? Like, is this where we headed? Did you guys like go into the future and come back and wrote a movie on the future? Or maybe they saw how humanity kind of is, and they kind of saw where we were going. Just maybe. Thank you to Caius Posthumous, who says, was the shootings in Phoenix and Baltimore BLM related? Also, what's your stances on Locke, the way police handled it, and the following protests? I don't know about the Phoenix and Baltimore shootings as far as BLM related. I saw the Phoenix shooting where they used a baby to lure the officers in to shoot them. That was really crazy. I've not seen the Baltimore case. Now, as far as what's his name, Brian Locke, is that his name? The problem is the situation in general. They had a warrant on their house. Like, okay, here's what I'm gonna say. If you don't want to have bad things happen, don't do bad things. Because if you're in the house with people that have done bad things, or you've done bad things, you are in danger all the time. All the time. Because the police might come in there, they may try to raid you, you trying to fight the police, it ends bad. The rivals come in there, they're attacking you. You making yourself hot. So ultimately, if you got people in there committing crimes, selling drugs, shooting people or whatever, that's their fault for bringing that kind of heat on them. Now, as far as the actual incident, as far as actual shooting, I'm not sure what else they could have done. Because it's like, okay, you coming in there, no not warrant. It's probably for a reason. And you have a gun right there and you're reaching for it. I mean, what's going to happen? I don't know. I'm not sure why there was a no not warrant. I mean, it's usually for a reason, because somebody's in danger or you can't really alert them for some. I don't know what happened, but ultimately, if you are involved in negative activity, that can happen to you. That's why I never was around it. Even if it's not me that's doing it, if I'm with the guy that's doing it, like let's say I'm in a car with somebody, right? The whole Tupac thing. Now, Tupac beat up, what was it, Orlando Jones, whatever the guy's name was, Orlando Anderson. He beat him up. So the guys that got beat up or his friends are now looking at him as an enemy. So they're trying to find this guy in Vegas. They roll up on him. They shoot him. If you're in the car with him, you dead too. Or you're shot as well. You weren't the one beating them up. You weren't the one doing the bad thing. But you're in the car with the guy doing the bad thing. You're in the car with the guy putting out this negative stuff toward people. Now you dead too. That's how it goes. I was always told that when I was a kid. It's like, don't even be around them, because whatever they're doing that's wrong, you'll suffer the consequences. And that's how it works. But anyway, I'll move on. Thank you to Blast Radius, who says, Hunter Avalon cries about not being able to debate ABL, but keeps dodging AJW for a debate. Who was AJW? Not only that, he skipped out another big debate claiming depression issues. Okay, Hunter. Oh, hopefully you're okay, man. You know, I want you to be depressed now. Shout out to Wolfgang Dio, who says the lady bank robber had mens rea, guilty mind, not a mental illness. Insanity results in institution. Mens rea, prison. Her misunderstanding can be figured out while she's behind bars. Wow. I'm with you. Hold on, I got a spider right here. You dead. One second. I must make sure there ain't no spider in my hat here. Man, that spider that thing came down like Spider-Man. Okay. Yeah, it was just like chilling right there. I got my light right here, my big light, and it was just kind of like this. Just like descending down. I was like, sir, we don't got no time for that. We don't got no time for that. I don't know where it's at either. I should have took one of these. I should have took that, but it was in the heat of the moment, so I'm just like, yo, let's get it done right now. Or matter of fact, take two of these and just clap it. But you know, Monday quarterback, I suppose. But let's keep going. Let me see. All right, let's go back to it. Turk Longwell says, less than 1K misdemeanor as far as a bank robber. No, I don't know about that because, I mean, you on camera with a pair of scissors in a bank, or you going to the federal penitentiary. This ain't no Walgreens or something like that. You messing with the federales. That's federal jurisdiction right there. A bank. Oh, I know a guy that robbed banks. He's not coming home no more. But he was a serial bank robber though. But stuff like that, you're not coming home again. You're pretty much toast at that point, but I'll move on. Eric P says the video after the incident probably acted like an entitled Karen. Shout out to a bunch of stuff I can't see right here. HJ, I'm going to call you that. It says, watching from Sweden, really like your stuff, ABL. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Shout out to Chris725 who says, good evening, ABL. Pardon me. Who do you think will win, Bengals or Rams? I got the Bengals all day long. Kayes Parchman says, would you rather have the mafia or gangs cartels? That's a good question, actually. I would say the mafia probably. They're more organized. They're less brutal than the gangs and the cartels, in my opinion. And they pretty much just, they're pretty much like attacking each other. But they, and they're not necessarily like attacking regular people. Now, gangs and the cartels, they'll attack anybody. Mike from Queens says Adams is de Blasio 2.0. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing right now. Tim's Collectible says, you're striking me as someone who could be a leader of men. Did you ever consider the military? Why or why not? I didn't really consider it because I graduated in 2002 from high school. So 9/11 happened and stuff like that. So that wasn't really that wasn't really my thing. I was trying to do something else. I was trying to be more of an entrepreneur at a young age. I was trying to be an entrepreneur when I was like 15, 16, even younger than that. I was the kind of guy that would sell you a piece of gum at a markup. Okay, I bought it. I got a 25-cent pack. I'll sell you one piece for 10 cents so I can make 50 cents so I could double up 100% profit. That was my thought process right back then. So I was always on that kind of wave. And I've been doing that type of stuff since I've been 21, 22, and I'm 37. So that's just how I saw my life, and that's pretty much what it's been. Gerardo84 says, ABL, do you like prank calls, and did you do any? I've never done prank calls before, personally. I mean, they're okay when it's done right. I like hearing prank calls of others when they do it, and if it's funny. It's got to be good, though, because if you're going to do a prank call, it's got to be good. It's got to be funny. It can't be mean-spirited or hateful or anything that will cause somebody to feel afraid. It's got to be right. But I never did prank calls myself. Thank you to Paul Robinson who says, hey, ABL, any truth to the rumor of a possible romantic connection between you and Joy Reid? No, not at all. Wolfgang Dio says, spiders in the house die, spiders outside, cool. Yeah, spiders outside, they could do what they want. You know what I mean? I let them be. they're chilling. Now, if they get too close to the door, then I put a little buffer. There's a little barrier zone. You know what I mean? But if they're outside, like in the front, in the grass or something like that, that's fine. They can chill. Donde 2K says, Spider Lives Matter. There you go. Spider Lives Matter. All righty. Let's go ahead and get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And let me see. Let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling. If Skype wants to work improperly tonight, don't blame me. It's the white man's fault. I didn't do it. I'm going to find that spider and finish him off. I don't know where he's at, though. I'm gonna use my phone Zoom to find it. Hey, it's crazy. Your phone Zoom can work sometimes better than your own eyes. All right, hold on. I promise I'm going to find this right now. Did I find it? No. All right. But I will by the end of the night. Let's get to the calls here. 559, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, it's Patrick from California. How's it going?
It's all good. How about yourself?
Good, man. Hey, I just had a quick question. What do you think is going to happen to all these governors, New York, California, all the Democrat states that's, they're going around without wearing masks? And what do you think that's going to wind up happening because of that?
You say because they're not wearing masks?
Right. Like, they just had that photo op with Magic Johnson and Gavin Newsom and Eric Garcetti. And then they caught, I think, the governor of New York without a mask on as well. I mean, my point is that when are people going to say enough, find a peaceful resolution? And what do you think that resolution is going to be? Well,
I'm not really sure. I think that nothing will happen to them specifically. I just think that they're going to have to eventually just ease up on the restrictions. I mean, nothing can really happen. It can't really be, it's not going to be any kind of recall effort like they tried and failed in California. And if there was, it wouldn't even work, I don't think. I think what happened is they just have to eventually stop. I think they've done that. They've stopped it in New York State. They've rolled back some of these mandates, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe by the midterm elections, it'll be totally finished because they know it's unpopular and they're trying to get people to vote Democrat. They don't want a total red wave. So they're going to be done by midterm time. And if they're not, I don't really understand why they wouldn't. I don't really see the logic behind it. So I don't know how they're going to go from there. But what I do know is this. Either way they go, it's gone on too long and they're going to suffer regardless in the midterms.
Right. Yeah, I think people are just going to get sick and tired of it and stop wearing them and just, walk in and out of any business or public space or anything as they will. And, I just think that's going to be a signal to the government to say, hey, well, basically the entire population is not going along with this. So then we're just going to have to stop.
Yeah, they'll have to. Because, I mean, if enough people just say, okay, we're not going to do this, then it'll be over with. If the police aren't going to enforce it, then it'll be over with. So it's a rule that's unenforceable. And at that point, it'll be over, even if it's not over.
How do you think I don't know if you're aware of Ron DeSantis with his new law that he passed where they schools can't force students to wear masks in the state of Florida. And then he was mentioning that actually the teachers unions, not the school districts, but the teachers unions are giving him some backlash on that as far as litigation and suing the state of Florida in court over it. So, what do you think, well, first of all, before we even dive into it, are you familiar with all that going on right now?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. It's basically like they're just, suing DeSantis in the state of Florida over students being forced to wear masks in school rather than it being a choice or up to the choice being up to the parent, where the teachers unions are saying, oh, well, no, they have to wear masks. And so I think in court too, not only the public side, but also the court side, kind of leading into my previous question, is that, they're going to wind up seeing the people reacting to the COVID, mandates and masks and the laws and everything else, or not the laws, but the unlawful executive orders that the governors are placing on people. And I think that they're going to wind up siding with the people as well in the court system. I mean, do you think that, you'll also be seeing the Supreme Court kind of going towards the side of the people? Or do you think that they're going to kind of still stay in this little area where they're kind of shifting in between, a gray zone with Democrats and then also the people, and then it's just a confusing thing in the court system. So what do you think is going to happen in that realm?
I mean, I don't really know. Like, it can go. I think the Supreme Court. It depends on how the case is presented to them, really, because a lot of the decisions that they make have to be very specific. So it depends on what case is presented to them. But I think before any kind of Supreme Court action goes, I think this will kind of fade, because midterms are upon us. It'll be here before you know it, and they want to really get a head start on the campaign. So they're going to have to end this pretty soon, just because of that reason, politically, not because of anything else.
Yeah, I agree. Well, hey, thanks a lot, ABL, for answering those questions, and love the show. Appreciate everything you do, and take care.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
All righty. Shout out to the call. Let's get to the next one here. 861, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? Hello, caller.
Yeah, Anthony.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, Anthony. Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, it's Paul from China. How you doing?
Oh, it's all good, man. What's going on?
Yeah. Good morning to you. It's morning time over here. It's about 10:30 in the morning. Two quick things, and then I'll let you go. One, Joe Rogan and these videos of these racial epithets that have been going viral online. As a very brief preamble, very briefly, I'll say that I've never been a viewer of his podcast. I've had no beef with his content, but I just didn't like his style. To me, he was just kind of dry and boring, and I just didn't like it. I like more like, well, of course, your show is awesome, but also really like people like Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is, of course, he's a brilliant guy, but his show is rapid fire, it's high energy, and I just really like Ben Shapiro's style. So I've never been a viewer of Rogan's podcast, but I've had no problem with them. I supported them because other conservatives supported them. Having said that, these last two videos that have gone viral, for me personally, have been very, very disturbing. The MMA fighter, Adesanya, his comments, I found his comments to be a quite vulgar display. And I think that he was pandering to an uneducated, boorish audience. And I'm just curious as to why do you give Joe Rogan a pass on these comments that he's made from these videos?
Because, like, first of all, as far as the N-word stuff, he didn't call anybody no N-word or nothing like that. He's just talking about things in context. So I don't think it's really a big deal if you say things in context. Like, you're not attacking someone specifically. I think the only thing you could get him on is the whole Planet of the Apes thing, but that's not really a big deal. I mean, I've heard people that are black say that among themselves. Like, I don't know if you was here when I was talking about, when I was doing my graphic design thing, I did a mixtape cover with some guys. Matter of fact, I did a whole series of album covers for guys that it was all black group, hood guys, street guys, and they were each a different ape from Planet of the Apes themselves. Like, this was their idea. They came to me and said, "Hey man, let's get X, Y, and Z done," and that was the whole their scheme. So I don't really see the big issue personally, and I've heard the comparison be made as far as the Planet of the Apes and then African Americans from African Americans, not anybody else. So I'm not really offended at that. I could see how somebody would be offended, but personally, I'm not really offended. If he was to call somebody the N-word and stuff like that, it'd be different. But that's not what he did.
Okay, but he said that walking into a theater with, I guess it was largely Black American, the patrons in the theater were majority Black American. He said that walking in there was like walking into Planet of the Apes. That doesn't give you pause.
I mean, not really. Like, I don't think it's really that. Like I said, that's probably the only thing you can get him on. But I don't really see. I'm not offended that much because put it to you like this: a lot of people that are Black don't want to go to a Black theater. Why? I'm asking you. Do you like? Would you know why?
Well, if it's a I guess you could what you call a Black theater, which the only one I've ever known of that were Black owned were the Magic Johnson theaters. He had one in Harlem, and I don't know if they're still operational or not. I haven't been in the States in a long time, but Magic Johnson had some theaters that were Black owned. But the other theaters, they were not Black owned, but I guess you call it a Black theater because it's in probably an urban area, and it was located in an area with a very large Black population. But I wouldn't really call those Black theaters because most of them are not even Black owned. But I would have some apprehensive, like if you just, I guess just get to the nitty gritty. A movie theater, like in the hood, like next to, right next door to Cabrini Green or something like that. Sure, I would have an issue going to those theaters. There's probably some unstable people in there, some firecrackers, someone could jump off, and a lot of ghetto types, whether they're Black or any color, but a lot of ghetto types, they don't really like people that are a little bit more. They carry themselves in a more sophisticated or gentlemanly manner. So something could, there could be some backlash at just your presence being there. So sure, I wouldn't want to go to a movie theater in any ghetto, white, Black ghetto, white trailer park, or whatever. But so does that answer your question?
Yeah, and I think that's what Jorgen was talking about. He wasn't talking about just like, he wasn't just saying, oh, because they're Black. He's just saying this is like a hood theater, which a lot of Black folks don't want to go to because loud talking, people in there fighting. I heard just recently there was a shooting in a theater in Atlanta. That kind of stuff goes on. That's why a lot of Black folks do not want to go to a theater that's going to be mostly a Black theater. Like where I'm from in Virginia, military circle, stuff like that, we don't want to go because it's just too much stuff going on. We want to go to Hickory, way out in the way, because it's going to be cool and more family oriented, things of that nature. That's kind of what he was referring to in that particular thing. But I will understand how somebody would be offended. But at the same time, I'm not going to pretend I don't understand what he's talking about. Like Black folks don't feel the same way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't want to belabor the point. Just me personally, I was never a fan of Rogan per se. Like I said, I never watched the show. I'm more of a Ben Shapiro, Dinesh D'Souza type of guy. But after these videos, just me personally, I'm finishing Rogan. No deposit, no return, no going back. That's just me. And to close that point, I'm not saying that your argument isn't valid, but I do think that if Rogan had went to a movie theater in a white ghetto, a movie theater where, next to a trailer park community, where all the patrons were like white, lower income people, I don't think he would have said that he would have walked into Planet of the Apes. I don't think he would have mentioned it at all. I think he would just went in there and watched the movie. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I'm finishing Rogan, but whoever wants to support him, that's your personal choice. Secondly, also, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Before I get to my second point, what you said earlier in the show about things not being as racial, and it's more about class. I thought that was a brilliant argument. I wish the more conservatives would make that point. That I mean, clearly race is still out there, as we can see from Joe Rogan's madness. But I think largely it is more class differences, and rich blacks don't want to associate with poor blacks, and rich Latinos don't want to associate with poor Latinos. So I thought that was a brilliant argument, and I would like to see you hear you highlight that more. Okay, last point.
But I got no more time because we already been here for a while. So
okay.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, shout out to my man. Now it was a good call, but yeah, like it's most certainly a class issue. I mean, my whole life as a kid, I heard, man, we ain't trying to go to military circle. We ain't trying to go to that theater, man. They're gonna be in there. Like you can go. You would go to military circle. If you know about Norfolk, you know what I'm talking about. You go to military circle at certain times of the day. You can go there in the daytime when everybody's at home or they just doing something else. But at nighttime, 8 o'clock, don't do it. Your life is in jeopardy. You're not going to be able to enjoy the movie. If you like the kind of environment where they're going to be talking during the movie and loud and carrying on like it's like an outside, like a football game or something like that, you can go to a theater, like a black theater at night. But in the daytime, you don't go. That's what black folks say. I ain't even worried about nobody white. This is, me. I'm coming up in the all black area. To even see a light skinned person was rare when I was a youngin'. I didn't really start seeing light skinned people, so I got to be like almost in high school. Everybody's my complexion. So that's just what it was. Among black folks, even in like a poor type area, there's class differences. And that's what separates you more than anything else, not just the whole color thing. So I understand what Joe Rogan was saying 100%, but I understand why some are going to be offended because they may not understand things or see things the way I do, and that's fine because everybody's different. Let me get to the next call here, though. Let's go to, all right, let's try 504 in the line. Who am I speaking to?
Jarvis, how you doing, ABL? I'm calling from Louisiana. How's everything?
It's all good, man. What's going on?
Well, I want to tell you, man, you're doing an outstanding job, and I'm really enjoying your show tremendously. And I wanted to call in to tell you thank you for the comment you made about the police earlier, about the police are the problem. And I agree with you 100%. I live in Louisiana, right outside of New Orleans. And when I tell you that the people are going, like just the crime rate has just skyrocketed. I don't know if you've heard anything from where you are right now, but it has skyrocketed. And every time you turn on the TV or you look at the news, it's always young black males. And right now what we're running through is a bunch of car thefts and carjackings and burglaries and different things like that. And people, they always want to talk about defund the police, if the police are the problem. Well, and I know you said this before, be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. Because when you have a situation where you defund the police and police officers are losing their jobs or leaving because they're not getting the support, now you have anarchy and the evilness uprising. And now you're saying, where are the police? Well, remember, you didn't want the police here. And what people don't understand, and you hit the nail on the head, the police will go out there and make the arrest. It's the district attorney's job to prosecute these crimes. And when they're not prosecuting these crimes, they want to look at the police and say, well, you're not doing the job. And that's just absolutely not true. And you really hit the nail on the head. Right now, there's a case down here where a young male killed his father-in-law, shot him in the head, killed him, and kidnapped his son, meaning like the father killed his father-in-law and kidnapped his own son, and then he turned himself in. But this young man had several domestic violence charges on him. He should have never been out of jail. He was bonded out because the DA and the court system gave him a $250 bond on a Class 3 domestic violence charge. Well, when you do things like that, what do you expect? Because this is not the kind of person that's going to say, okay, I'm going to go to court when I'm supposed to go to court, when you have a rap sheet a mile long. And that's the problem. So I wanted to thank you, because every time you turn on the TV, just about people are talking about the police, and it's really not. Yeah, you have good and bad in everything. And when this George Floyd stuff kicked off, when you look at things like that, ABL, you have George Floyd, who was not a good person. Of course, he ran into a police officer who was not a good police officer. But every police officer is not like that gentleman, and every black person is not like George Floyd. You have to judge people individually and on their body of work. So when you have a bad person like George Floyd get with this guy, the bad police officer, bad things are going to happen. That's like isolated incidents. So then Black Lives Matter, they want to come in and they want to destroy everything. But what about when there's black on black crime and there's things in Chicago when all these children are being killed? You don't hear about that. They're not protesting those things, and I think that's a sad thing. So I just wanted to personally thank you, man. Look, you have a wonderful platform. I'll listen to you every Wednesday and Saturday, and if I don't catch you, I catch you the next day or whatever. Just keep doing what you're doing, because you keep it real, and that's what I like. And it's positive stuff, And like you said, ABL, people don't always have to like what you say, but you're going to say how you feel, and you're going to be honest about it. And that's what I like about your program, and that's what I love about you, man. So I'm not going to keep you up, keep mowing your time, but I want to thank you for just making that comment and just trying to set the record straight. I appreciate you.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
All right, buddy. You take care. I'll talk to you soon.
I know. Shout out to the call. Great call. Yeah, man. I just call it how I see it, and it's okay to disagree and all that. It's all good. It's 100% good. I got a picture for you guys I want to show right quick. This is a meme I posted on my Twitter page, and I think you guys will appreciate this. Now, I said this before, but I'm going to go ahead and just explain it for guys and girls that can't see, if you're listening to the audio only. Now, I've said before that when they're trying to remove Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben, etc., it's like they're taking off iconic black characters from food products that you would see all the time in grocery stores, and they're going to leave the white guy. But this is all being done in the name of progressivism and wokeness, all this, that, and the third. So this is like the typical, what was it? What was it? Was it Lennon? I forget who that was in the picture originally. But you know how they were like Photoshop pictures back then or airbrush pictures back then to act like, oh, that person wasn't there. It was just this person, So what you have at first is the Land O'Lakes lady, the Quaker Oats guy, the white guy, Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben. Then you have Land O'Lakes lady, she gone. So it's just three of them. Then Uncle Ben's gone. So now it's just, what's that, Quaker Oats or whatever, and Aunt Jemima. Then just a white guy left. So it's only him left. You see? So that's how it goes. That's how it is. Was it Stalin, Lenin, Trotsky, everybody? So this is what they do. Okay. And because to me, the whole thing with Aunt Jemima, I'm like, why is that somehow offensive? Why is that offensive for Aunt Jemima? And you know what? One thing about Aunt Jemima, before I continue with the calls, there's always been calls to try and like update her image, make her be more appealing and quote unquote less stereotypical. They do that every few years. But I guess this last time was not enough because she's just so offensive. A black woman on the food product, the horror. And then Land O'Lakes lady, they kept the land and removed the Indian, kicked her off the box, took the land and kept the land. And Uncle Ben, why was Uncle Ben somehow offensive? I don't understand. I used to buy Uncle Ben's rice all the time. Brown rice all day long. Put it in the pot, put it in the steamer, we good to go. It's so dumb, but I'll move on. The number to call, you guys know, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. All right, Victor, what's happening?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
Hey, that Jim Jones story reminds me of what happened to Tory Lane a couple of years ago in Canada at a mall. I think it was a Louis Vuitton store where one of the workers, I guess based off the story, profiled him. He didn't know that he was a famous rapper from Canada. He told him to basically get out. Tory Lane, knowing that he's being discriminated, decided to spend a bag in Louis Vuitton and taunt the guy, say, yeah, I balled out your store. How you like that? I balled out your store. Yet Louis Vuitton got the last laugh because they took your money.
Right, exactly. That's my whole thing. It's like, okay, why reward them with the money? What's the purpose?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's funny because with black people, which is pretty sad to say, that to show that they're successful, they got to go to see the rich white person. Yet though they scream racism.
That's right, exactly. And it's weird because it's like, look, I mean, if you really want to flex, just use money and be powerful with it. Don't just take whatever. If you're not getting customer service, I'm not paying anything in here. You use it that way. Don't just take whatever they give you and then spend money. That's not a flex at all.
Yeah, exactly. This week, man, the social justice people got really upset. Not only when Spotify is still backing up Joe Rogan, but other people coming out to support Joe Rogan. And then Aaron Rodgers just won MVP again.
Yeah, they don't like that too much because, he's unvaccinated. He can't win the MVP. Yes, he can. He sure can.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of amazing how it's quite a bit of black men that's coming out to support Joe Rogan. I like what T-Pain said, that if we cancel Joe Rogan for saying the N-word, just think what happened to me when I say things worse.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Though it kind of feels like there is a small crack when Joe Rogan put out that somewhat, not the apology for the N-word, but the one with the vaccination. I felt that he should never talked, but the way that Spotify is doing is saying, well, we're going to put these warnings if you want to talk about the COVID. It kind of seemed like some form of censorship when you're doing that, or at least leaving the door open to that. And then when it came to the N-word, I just feel that Joe Rogan should have never said sorry in the first place. Said that it happened years ago. We just move on. And now tonight, Joe Rogan's supposed to be at UFC 271. Yet though he's not there because it said that he has what?
It's a scheduling conflict.
Yeah, scheduling conflict. Yeah, right. Like at the last minute, now you want to say that?
Right.
I mean, you're in Austin. The fight is in Houston. Y'all about 2 or 3 hours away. No, that's ESPN that came down and said that they don't want him there.
You know what? And it's going to get weird. Like, I want to see how this whole thing plays out. Is it going to continue? Is it going to stop? Because now, if they try to cancel Joe Rogan, that's going to cause a really big problem. That's going to cause a lot of other people to say, you know what? They're canceling Joe Rogan. So what's going on? Who's deciding who gets canceled and who's not? So that'd be really eye-opening for a lot of people.
Yeah, especially when the people who are mad at Joe Rogan for saying the N-word are the same people who voted for Biden, who said the N-word and given crack to black people.
On Black History Month. What we gonna do? Crack pipes.
On Black History Month. I mean, and just to piggyback on that, he is showing his true colors. Joe Biden's showing his true colors, and yet people are still think that he's better than Trump.
Right, exactly. But that's all just media conditioning. That's all because anybody with a brain can see what's going on. But if you've been brainwashed by the media successfully, you believe whatever they say.
Yeah, exactly. The last one I want to talk about is the New York try to ban drill music. I understand why the mayor want to do that. If you actually hear what's going on in the drill scene in New York, especially what's going on right now with the Bronx, with D-Thing, K-Block, and some other people. I would say that the drill music is worse than Chicago because they're having so much fun dancing with it, which I think that's very demonic. How you're talking about killing other people and you're just dance to the beat. However, you hit the nail on the head when you said that it's the freedom of speech. It sucks that you don't want that to happen, but if you're going to take away a human right like the freedom to think, then that's going to leave the door open for other things that the authority can do to take away your other human rights.
Exactly. 100%. It's a slippery slope because it's like, okay, what's next? It's going to be this, then what? I mean, what are we going to be able to do? You having your rights being just whittled away.
Yeah. And like I said, if you hear the scene and hearing that the age of the people that's dying, I mean, these are literally kids that barely got their driver's license. I understand where he's at, but it's a slippery slope. But also, New York, it's not as bad as the mayor think he is, because New York is actually doing a better job than what Chicago police is doing.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of drill rappers in New York that couldn't really make it because the New York police are locking them up or they're just dying. I mean, there's some people, the two people that really made it out so far is 22 G's and Fivio Florin. And they're not even doing what they've been doing in the past. They have actually matured. A lot of New Yorkers cannot even say that because what the New York police has been locking them up for.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Bye.
All right, a good call from Victor. Let's get to some more here. And the number to call, as always, is 434-658-1220. There's also an email for Skype in the description box below the video. If you want to be right there in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen talking about whatever's going on, let's get to some more. Let's do 773 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL. ABL, it's your Chicago police officer friend. How you doing?
I'm well. About yourself?
Good. It may seem like a contradiction. As you know, I worked in the ghetto for, over 20 years. And I work around a lot of black people. And actually, blacks show more support in those communities to the police than you might think. Because when the state's attorney catches and releases these criminals, that's the community that are going back to. That's the community, the black community is the community that they're preying on. The black community is the community that's having all this black on black murder and black on black crime. So the normal people that I meet, and I met great people throughout my career, I always say that 90% of the people in the community are great people held hostage by a handful of idiots. And the worse the neighborhood, the bigger handful of criminals, the bigger handful of idiots. But the majority of people in these communities that I deal with support us. They support us because they know the real facts. They know exactly what these liberal policies are doing to their community. So it might seem like a contradiction. That's why you see all these suburban whites at these rallies and everything, because they're not in those communities. Oh, the kumbaya, they're holding hands and everything else, but then they get in their car and they go to their all white safe community. But it's the urban blacks that have to live with the policies of these liberals. So I find a lot of support of the police in those communities.
That's 100% correct. And that's why I was talking about with like Black Lives Matter. It's like these people don't understand what's going on. They look at television, they look at social media and they think they understand, but they don't know because I'm from it. I'm in it. And like you said, it's people that are just regular everyday people. You get elderly people, grandmas, 80-something years old. They're not involved in any kind of violence, but they're held hostage by these criminals that keep coming back and terrorizing the community over and over and over and over and over again. That's a problem.
You know, I won't name the communities because it would mean nothing to anybody except if you live in Chicago. But there are middle-class black communities in Chicago. And I've had a lot of older people in their 70s and their 80s, tell me how beautiful their neighborhood was until they got rid of the projects. Because what happened was the crime in those projects concentrated those black street gangs in those areas. And once they knocked those down and dispersed those people, which many were criminals, many were gang members, you know, once they dispersed those people throughout the better communities, those middle-class communities, havoc had reigned. You know, their communities became crime-ridden. It used to be, you know, those few miles of projects that were crime-ridden, and now, you know, they've ruined these middle-class black communities. So, you know, that's coming from them, not from me, because when Kim Fox releases all these criminals, they're not coming to my neighborhood. Even though my neighborhood's not all white, it's all city workers. You know, there are certain neighborhoods because you have to live in the city if you work for the city. If you collect a paycheck from the city, you have to live in the city. So my neighborhood is all garbage men, firemen, policemen, you know, water department guys, you know, of different races, Hispanic, white, black, but they're all city workers with viable jobs. So they're not coming to my neighborhood. They're coming to those neighborhoods that I patrol. And that's why we get the support, because they know the real deal. They know the real deal. So there's my 2 cents, as you like to say. Have a good one. I love your show, ABL, as you know. That's why I always call in. So have a good one.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate you. That was a really good call. I'm glad you brought that up about these communities being terrorized by a handful of people. I mean, and the guys, I know the guys too. I know the guys is out there doing X, Y, and Z. It's not the entire community. It's just that this is why I keep saying people talking about, oh, you don't come to the hood. It's like nobody wants to be there. The people, regular normies, don't want to be in the hood. They're trying to figure out a way to get out. Everybody's trying to get out unless you know, making a bunch of money or you just are a hood rat. Then it's fine. But most people don't want to be there. They have to be there because of financial reasons. It's just, it is what it is. Poor choices, bad decisions, whatever it is, it is what it is. Everybody can't be rich, I suppose. But I move forward. Let's get to some more calls here. Let's go to 501. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
What's going on, ABL? This is Norwood.
All right, man. What's going on?
Good life, bro. Good life. You know, the amusing thing for me is that black people only get outraged when public people tell them they're supposed to be outraged. They don't get outraged when things that actually matter. They didn't get upset and go all on YouTube and go all on Twitter and talk about the governors who have told them that their children are so dumb that they're going to eliminate the need for them to know how to read or do math. There was no outrage about that. When these little kids get shot while they're sleeping in their bed or playing in their backyards, there's no outrage about that. So what I've grown to understand, I was born in 1965, and what I've grown to understand is those people who speak loud like that, they really don't care. It's really not outrage. It's really attention seeking, because they're looking for some type of justification. They're looking for some type of rationalization to make a statement about substance on themselves.
That's 100% correct, because the people that are so loud, they are misinformed. And when you try to tell them what's going on, because the thing is, okay, if you're really caring about the community, like you say, when somebody from there tells you something different, you would listen, but they don't want to listen because it's all about just how they feel. It's all about what they think they're doing. It's like, okay, I'm a social activist. I have my fist up. Black Lives Matter. That's all I really care about. They don't really care about the actual problem.
Yeah, but see, it's not even that. It's only when they're told that they should be outraged.
Yeah.
When MSNBC comes on and says, "Okay, this is outrageous," and then they get a little black person on there to say, "Yes, this is outrageous," and then they continue to repeat it among themselves, and then they go out and find these individuals that are strewn all throughout Black America, and they find those individuals. But most black people do not think like the people you hear on the news. Most black people don't want to live next door to a crack house. And if you simply call these people, these multimillionaires who are running around faking like they're outraged, what neighborhoods do they live in? What neighborhoods does LeBron James live in? Does LeBron James live in Compton? No, he does not. Does Snoop Dogg live in Compton? No, he does not. Do any of those NBA players who were outraged and they took a knee all last year, what neighborhood do they live in? Did any of them do anything about a capital fund to develop the rundown neighborhoods they came from? No. There are only a few actual NBA players that are actually substantively contributing to the community that they grow up in. But every other word out of the rest of their mouth is about how hard they had it growing up. They're not thinking about the kids who are them today and what they're doing about that.
You're 100% correct, and I've seen that a lot, and that's why I always call them out, because it's just totally fake. They don't want to live in these areas. They want to live just like the Black Lives Matter lady. She has a whole real estate portfolio, and she's not going to be living in amongst the regular people. Should be off in some Hollywood Hills type thing, or in her Georgia estate with an airplane hangar on it. That's how they live. But all that public stuff is just for the public.
Absolutely. And Lee, it's, as I said before, the people that you see talking about these outrages are not the majority of black people. Most black people are decent people. Most black people want decent lives. Most black people want good things for their children. Most black people. It is a small minority of these individuals, and we can say that it's Du Bois' talented 10th, his grand design for this small group of intellectuals who are supposed to guide black people out of ignorance and out of poverty. And it's those little talented tenths, and if you want to call them brulee, whatever you want to call them, that little small minority is always given a platform to tout the misery that they don't experience. They're there to criticize the treatment that they don't receive.
Correct.
Because every one of them is receiving 6, 7, and 8 figures to go out and tell black people how horrible America is.
100% correct. Right on.
All right, make your day, bro. Peace.
All right, now. Great call. Fantastic call. I've been saying that. It's like these people aren't really serious. They just they're trying to virtue signal. They're trying to make people think that they are so woke and progressive and all this, that, and the third, when it's just not the reality. I think it's a scam at a certain point. It's a scam. Just call it for what it is rather than for what it ain't. Let's get to some more here. 704, you're online. Who am I speaking to? Hello, 704? All right, 704 can't hear me. All right, 704. What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hello?
Yes, I'm here. All right, I don't know what's going on, but you gotta tighten up. You gotta tighten up, sir. Let's get it together. If you're calling for the first time, maybe they were, maybe they weren't, but have your ear to the phone. You cannot look at the stream. It's going to be delayed. All right, let's go. All right, 773, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, is this ABL?
All right, turn the screen off for me in the background, please.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
All right. All right, I got you. Fine.
All righty, what's happening?
Hey, yeah. My name's Zen. I've been commenting how you were stuck at there's like 894,000 subscribers for like a month. So
then I finally broke through. They allowed me to break through.
Right. Yeah, it looks like you're slowly creeping up to that 1 million.
Yeah, be there soon.
Congratulations. I've been listening since you were like at 4,000, I think.
Oh wow, man! Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, and just want to say, like, I'm a big fan of you, and then I think like Chandler Crump stepped up his game a lot, and Black Conservative Patriot, Black Conservative Perspective or View, whichever one he calls it now, and B. Tatum, Kevin's Corner, Uber Guy, of course, Candace Owens. You got to give her shouts out. So, yeah, I just wanted to say, been listening to you for a long time, and I think I don't really identify as conservative in particular, like just only that. I would call myself an independent, but sorry, I'm a little nervous trying to catch my breath here, but yeah, I just want to say you guys are changing the script, flipping the script and changing the game. And I just want to know, I want you to know that I think your impact goes a lot farther than just your subscribers or just whoever's watching you at the moment. It's a huge deal. And just wanted to kind of stay on topic. Like, I think kind of race has been a topic tonight, and I'm kind of done with it. I grew up in Chicago. I grew up with all types of kids. I was poor. And I'm kind of done listening to the race stuff, but it's like they're trying to bring it back on life support or something. And, you know, you got Trudeau, Mr. Blackface, and he's calling like the Sikh truckers from India, he's calling them racist and everything. So I think it's just kind of absurd. You know, when somebody calls me and asks my race, I just say, human, you know, and I kind of joke, but at the same time, like, I mean it. You know, let's transcend that. So just wanted to mention that, and before I leave, I won't take too much of your time, but I just wanted to say you're doing a great job, and I wanted to ask you, going into these midterms, what do you think is the single most important issue that's going to hurt the Dems the most and maybe bring conservatives up, like inflation, CRT, all this race peddling that they got in the media, a war with Russia that they're trying to push. What do you think?
The biggest issue is inflation, because people can understand that. That's the thing. And also virus lockdowns and restrictions. That's things that affect you directly. You know, as far as other things, Ukraine and whatnot, people can't really see that in their everyday life. But when they go to the grocery store and things are more expensive and the money's not really going the way it should go, and if you're elderly and you're on a fixed income or you have savings and it's not going as far as it should be, those are things people can see immediately, and they're going to act as a result.
100%. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that it's like you can't even ignore that. People can ignore all kinds of stuff nowadays. It's strange, but yeah, you're right. 100%. So, well, thank you for taking my call. I'm surprised I got through, and I appreciate so much what you're doing. Once again, you're just making a huge impact. I don't even know if you're aware, but keep going. Thank you.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good question, though, about what's going to be the biggest thing. Most people, the average normie, is going to see what they can see right in front of their face. Like, they go to the grocery store and the money's not really going the way it should go. They're going to see that. If their kids are coming home crying and distressed because they got to wear a mask, they can see that every day. So those are things that are going to be most important. We saw what happened in Virginia. The biggest issue in Virginia was the mandates and stuff in school, which is why they're going to stop doing that by midterms. If they don't do it, then they just want to lose. At that point, they're pretty much throwing the game. Right, you might as well come out there and just lay on the football field for the whole time and not even try to run the play and just keep getting timed out by the clock. That's what you're going to do if you don't stop doing things that people do not like. It's not popular. The mandates are not popular. Nobody likes it. Left, right, center, nobody likes it. it's not going to win any kind of election. So if they're trying to hang on that as a strategy to win, that's going to be a losing strategy. But let's move on to the next one. And let's go to, all right, 860 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, it's F&A Ranger Xbox.
All righty, man. What's going on?
I just wanted you to know that I eat a sustainable plant-based diet. Oh, man. I just happen to let the cows process the grass for me.
There you go. Perfect.
But now, I had hope that clown could have done some good for New York City until I did a little research and found out that he went to China 7 times.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I thought I'd let that soak in there for a second.
Yeah, let soak in for sure.
Yeah, 7 times, not once, not twice, 7 times that clown's been to China. You don't go to China as a black man on vacation 7 times, especially when you're planning on getting into politics.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting.
So,
it's like, the question is like, what are you doing over there in China?
Exactly. Patrice Cullors and all them trained Marxists. Where? From the Confucius Institutes on the universities, because she's a professor. Now, she's a grade C professor. She's not like, excuse me. Sorry about that, a little bit asthma.
Okay.
She's not like Carol Swain or Thomas Sowell, A type professor. She's like a D or a C or an F plus or something like that. Not very bright. But all the tactics used by BLM in the riots were developed by the protesters in Hong Kong, and the Chinese used them over here. The water bottles, the bricks, being in convenient locations and everything, the frozen water bottles, ice. But it occurred to me, when I sent you that super chat last week, that if you took and listed all the things that you would expect from a white supremacist group, you could check the box with BLM on every single requirement to be a white supremacist group. The majority of their money went to Act Blue, Democrats. Bing! Who's the historically party of white supremacists? Democrats. I mean, it just adds up. And I live in Connecticut, so I have to deal with some of these fruitcakes. They got their pronouns and stuff. And one of them said, well, my preferred pronoun is, and I just hit him back with that, well, my preferred pronouns are sire, your majesty, your highness, or my liege. I will allow you to use my liege. Please don't offend me. And I'll be sending you a bill for taxes. Anyway, brother, AK Nation, I wanted to send a shout out. His YouTube channel is primarily to black on black murder victims and children of all the cities across North America. And so he's one of my big sources of information for what's going on. And I honestly believe it with all my heart that the Democrats are systemically exterminating black people in America just through their actions.
Well, I think what's happening. I think what's happening is they're kind of just creating an environment where there's no kind of rules and regulations, and they incentivize the worst of the worst to continue. Like if they just kind of backed off and didn't allow these things to happen and just like enforced laws, this wouldn't be the case. But this is what's happening.
Well, even in Baltimore, where they get $17,300 per student per year, which is above the national average. The mayor's black, the deputy mayor's black, the city council's black, the teachers union's black, the teachers are black, the school boards are black, and the students are black. But it's a white man's fault that the average is 0.1367 GPA. Where do I, as a as a white man, benefit from that. You know, blacks killing each other in the street with gang colors on. I would much rather see a young black man, well-dressed, well-spoken, well-educated, gainfully employed, buying the car of his dreams, owning a house. I would much rather see that because he's going to think about life the exact same way I do and not be angry, you know, that he's not doing the same things that other people are doing. And I think that they create the environment for that intense hatred. And that's all I got for you, brother. I love your show. And I tell everybody all over the place, even people I talk to from insurance companies, you know, making a payment, you got to watch ABL. So, you know, and they do. Mm-hmm. So that's all I got for you, brother. Love the show.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
You take care. Bye.
All right, let's get some more here. Let's go to, where are we going to go? Let's go 503 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
My name is Caitlin.
All righty.
Hey, I was just calling because I wanted to mention when you were talking about Portland earlier.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to tell you, because you're talking about kind of the, like how the rap scene here and all the homelessness and all the crime. I just wanted to tell you, I thought it was pretty funny that Ted Wheeler, he, like, you know, he was out there with BLM protesting and stuff. And he like got in with the rioters, and the rioters actually tear gassed him. It's pretty funny, and he was like all against the Oregon National Guard. But now that our homeless crisis has gotten so out of control and it's gotten so bad, he is actually getting the Oregon National Guard. I don't know if it's approved or not yet, but he is trying to make these like giant homeless shelters that can house like 1,000 people. And he says he wants it to be militarized and run by the Oregon National Guard.
Wow.
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of crazy. Anyway, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just wanted to kind of point that out. It's just getting real crazy out here. But my husband, he really doesn't want to move out of Portland. But really want to.
Why does he want to stay?
Well, because his family lives here, his mom and his brother, and, you know, my family lives here too, my niece and nephews, my siblings. And we want to kind of move away, but we don't want to be away from our family. So we were kind of thinking about Idaho. So I don't know if you maybe have any recommendations for places around the Pacific Northwest that would be good to move to.
Well, I've heard about Idaho, but Idaho's becoming like California because everybody has your same point of view. Everybody wants to leave and they don't want to go to Portland or Seattle or San Francisco, Los Angeles. They want to go to Idaho. They're going to Nevada. They're going. Everybody's in Phoenix. Like Phoenix ain't nothing but another California. But it's cool out there though. Phoenix is cool because it's not been overrun by the Democrats. And Idaho, I guess it'd be the same way. So that's probably a good place to be. I would say it's probably a good location for you because you can go back home. It wouldn't be too much of a trip for you to go. So that's probably a good place. Boise, Idaho is a good place to live.
Okay, and just one more question for you. How do you think I could talk my husband into that when he really doesn't want to leave the state?
I don't really know because that's really between you guys and how you are with each other. So that's not really my cup of tea to really get into that. But I would just say to anyone, even if it's not a husband and wife or whatever, I would just say, okay, we can visit family. Like I've moved away. Most people don't necessarily stay. That's not necessarily true. Some people move away from their family and it's okay. They can go visit whenever they want. And then they can meet new people in a new place and start something there. You don't have to always live in one place your whole life. You could still get on the plane and visit. And if you move to a place like Boise, Idaho, you're not that far away. They can come see you. You can come see them. That was my whole life growing up when I was a kid, because I was born in West Virginia, but I grew up in Virginia about 7 hours away on a car ride. So every holiday, birthday, whatever, I'll be going back to West Virginia, hanging out with my family up there. So that's not really a big deal. You can still see your grandparents and everything. That's not a problem.
Right on. All right, cool, ABL. But yeah, so thank you so much for the advice. I also wanted to point out about what Ted Wheeler's doing. It's just crazy. If you have time, I definitely would take a look at these giant homeless shelters he wants to have, and he's like saying he wants them to be militarized. But thanks so much for your time. Love the show. You have a good night, ABL.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate you.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah, I would say, it's time. But again, Boise, Idaho, people got that same idea. Everybody's trying to leave. Vegas is another California. Vegas is like another little hood. You got LA games in Vegas. And Scottsdale is beautiful though. I love Scottsdale. I'm gonna go back there again soon. Love Scottsdale. I wouldn't live there though because it's too hot during the summertime. But in the wintertime or like in the fall, that sun, about 80 degrees, is beautiful. I love it. I love it. Being on the rooftop somewhere, chilling. But California, I can't do it. It's like a small town in the middle of nowhere. But Los Angeles, hated it. I've not been to San Diego yet or San Fran. I've been to San Fran? I don't think so. I don't know. But LA, I hate it. So yeah. But I would just say before you go anywhere, just matter of fact, there's a guy on YouTube. I'm gonna tell you the guy, if you're listening to me, caller, you just called in. There's a guy that actually is a consultant for people to move. Hold on, I'm gonna get his name right quick. Nick Johnson. Nick N-I-C-K Johnson. He has a YouTube channel. If you search for a video like unboxing Tennessee, unboxing Florida, he does stuff like that. He does like drive-throughs of some of the ghettos and some of the nice areas and state to state, city to city. He talks about some of the best kept secrets, best small towns, best big cities or whatever, most expensive, least expensive. If you contact him, he'll consult you directly. But I can tell you right now, Boise is on the list. However, a lot of Californians are moving out there too. So just keep that in mind. Let's get to the next call. Our caller, I'm speaking to 817.
Hey, how you doing, ABL? What's going on, brother? This is Steve in Dallas, Fort Worth. Man, I just want to say thank you and thank Jericho Green and B. Tatum and guys like you for inspiring me, bro. A couple of years ago, I started my own tiny little channel. I'm not going to promote it. I have way too much respect for you to do that on your show. But, man, I just respect you guys and appreciate what you especially, bruh. Your sense of humor had me crying. You had me crying. Bro, when you talked about Jim Jones, you talked about you trying to be a hard rapper asking about sparkling water, I was in tears. I was in tears. But, bro, I think we're missing something, though, that I heard you talk about a couple of times in the show. I'm really enjoying the show, by the way. But there's something you talked about that I think is getting missed. You talked about the elections and how, hey, these guys are going to have to drop these mask mandates and so on and so forth. And that's true because you see it happening now, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But here's the deal. They just going to follow the California model, bro. They're going to do the same thing that punk governor did in California, and it breaks my heart because I'm actually from San Diego. I've been in Texas for about 16 years now, but my state's been destroyed. They're going to do the same thing he did. They're going to pretend, oh, it's all good, happy, everybody's free, no more masks. And the moment anybody's stupid enough to reelect these fools back in their chairs, all of a sudden, because this is going to be in November, right? All of a sudden, the COVID crisis is back, and we got, the Decepticon virus now, and everybody's got to get it. It's going to all start all over again. Any of these fools who are dumb enough to get reelected are going to reinstitute mask mandates, reinstitute vaccine mandates. I promise you, they're going to follow the California model.
Well, I think they may try to do that, but if they do that still might be a problem because that might not be enough for people to accept. If you're going to do that in California, that's a whole different story. California is like a whole different country. It might as well be China 2.0, American China. But do that somewhere like Florida, Texas, that ain't going to fly.
No, I hear. No, here in Texas, it's not going to fly. In Florida, it's not going to fly. But you heard already the governor of that crazy governor in New York. She's already, we're lifting mask mandates, except, by the way, I don't know if you caught this, except for schools, they still have to wear them in schools because, God forbid, the teachers' unions get upset. But all private businesses and open to the public, they can drop the mask mandates if they want. I think the governor of Michigan, that crazy woman, I think she's been doing the same thing. But the moment they win, because it's all about getting reelected. If any of them get reelected, if anybody in any of these states is stupid enough to reelect these people, they're going to reinstitute them. It's going to be mask mandates and vaccines all over again. It's just the way they are. This is not them having a change of heart. This is them buying time. That's all it is.
Yeah, a good point. I mean, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, they don't do that. But I think what you're saying does make a lot of sense.
Well, because the problem is with our side, and I've been a conservative for a while. Like I said, you guys inspire me. Especially, I love your channel. Listen, for real. Every time you got something new coming out, I'm watching and listening because I just love the way you deliver things, your sense of humor. I get it, and it just cracks me up. But we have to stop. We have a tendency, at least I'll say this, conservative Republicans have a tendency to fight nice, not realizing they're in a street fight. They're trying to use Marcus the Queensberry rules in a street fight. And I'm with you. Like, this whole thing, like with Whoopi and Whoopi getting suspended, all this. Everybody, I don't believe she said. I don't want to hear that. All these different videos about Whoopi should. I don't think she should be suspended. Yes, she should. If it's good enough for the goose, it's good enough for the gander. The only way to stop these people is to force them to feel the pain they try and inflict. That's it.
That's right.
It doesn't end. It's like Malcolm X said, the only thing power respects is power. That's it. So once we can show them we're not playing, we hood too, things will change, but they got to feel some pain first. I love one of Ronald Reagan's, one of my favorite lines by Ronald Reagan is, you don't get Democrats to see the light, you get them to feel the heat. That's it.
Right on.
All right, brother. Hey, appreciate you again. Thank you so much for inspiring me. If I can even get to a tenth of what you have as the audience, I will count myself blessed. Congratulations on the million. I'm just going to speak it into existence because I know it's going to happen for you. You got a phenomenal show. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
All right, great call. Shout out to him. But yeah, a lot of people were saying about Whoopi Goldberg that she shouldn't be suspended or whatever because freedom of speech is like, nah. But see, the thing about Whoopi Goldberg is that she holds us to a certain standard. So, all right, well, if you want to hold us to that standard, same thing for you. So now you've been, you live by the sword, you got to die by the sword. That's just what it is. If you don't like it, oh, well, that's your fault. You're the one that did it. So now you just got to be responsible. So it is what it is. All right, let's get to the next call. 316, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Adele. I'm calling from the Netherlands.
All righty, what's
going on?
How are you? I'm well. How about you?
I'm good. Yes. So, I want to say, you saw a Dutch reporter getting pulled off the air in China, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there was something. We haven't heard much about that after it happened. It wasn't like one or two late night shows. They showed a clip in it here in Holland, but not much after that. So
yeah, it wasn't like big news when it happened. It was just kind of like ignored.
Yeah. So yeah, you can say that because the news channel is. I believe it's our public news channel. I believe it is. So it's state funded, right? And I've looked at their YouTube channel that they have, and I haven't seen like the video of our reporter being brushed away like that. I haven't seen the specific video like that. Maybe it is in a longer clip about the Olympic Games, but nothing specific like. Here's our reporter getting pulled off of the air or something. No, it was not. It was only on the day it happened. They showed it in one or two late night shows, a short clip, and it was like, oh wow, that's China, that's censorship, and wow, nothing more, no big fuss, nothing.
Wow, that's amazing. That's crazy because that should be a really big story for Netherlands for the reporter to get pulled off like that.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah. And also because someone else has put up that short clip. It's a clip for like 30 seconds or maybe a minute in total. And someone else has put this video up, and the video has like, I don't know, 50,000 or lots of thousands of views, let's say. But nothing from the official channel of the NOS. That's what the channel was called. So yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, we all know China is censoring people, and the Dutch people know that also, of course. Yeah. So another thing I would like to say, Have you heard about Jeff Bezos, his new yacht, and our city of Rotterdam?
Yeah, so they're gonna like destroy the bridge or like just temporarily take it apart to let his yacht go through.
Well, I tell you first. I'm looking at the bridge right now.
Oh wow, okay. So you're like right there. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at the bridge right now. So it's like 2 times a year there has been given permission for like very big ships and boats and stuff like that to be getting through that bridge, and they dismantled the bridge specifically because the Dutch still have some shipbuilding left, and they don't have yet received the what do you say it? The request for the dismantling, but it's in the working. So, and people are very upset, and some people just don't give a damn about it. But to be honest, personally, Jeff Bezos said that he would pay everything. I'm like, yeah, well, if you say you pay everything for putting it back together. Maybe you can make a good deal about it. Maybe you can do ask for a little bit more, and I don't know, paint the bridge or something like that. He wouldn't say no, I guess, because else he can't get his yacht.
Right, exactly. So yeah, he'll pay for it. He has plenty of money. It wouldn't be a big deal for him. Why put that burden on the government when you have the money to pay for it? So, and the way that and the way that the news reported it, they were saying that it never gets dismantled like this. The story I saw said the story I saw said that it had been dismantled some years ago, and they said that they weren't going to do it again. So that's not true.
So they have they don't do it that much, and I believe it doesn't happen every year. But they have like sort of given permission from the construction engineers and guys like that. They said that it would be okay for like to give permission like 2 times a year or something to do that. But I don't believe that does even happen every year, like 2 times. So, but it wouldn't be a problem. The only thing is, it's the first thing that Rotterdam, I believe even the Netherlands, built back up after the Second World War because it was destroyed, and it's a very proud bridge, so to say. But personally, I thought, why would we dismantle the bridge and stuff like that? But then I thought, why not? If he wants to pay for everything and it's going to be all right with the construction, I thought, no problem. And then you got the lefties that are going to say, oh, we're going to throw eggs at the yacht and everything else. And I was like, oh no. They don't think ahead of time, because maybe you can get a good deal out of it. If you say, oh, you pay $1 million extra and we can get to paint the bridge and everything. No. Oh, it's stupid.
Wow.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, I'm looking at the bridge. I look, if he pays for everything, I won't have a problem with it. So yeah, but in the media, it's always a bit different. Shall we say? Yeah,
absolutely.
I just quickly, I want to say one other thing. I've seen you stream with B. Tatum and DJ Cobra and RK Outpost. That was an amazing stream. It's very cool, and I want to see you on FNT, man. You've got to be on Friday Night Tights, man. You really got to be there.
You said what now? What's the show?
On the Friday Night Tights show from Geeks and Gamers.
Okay, yeah. I'll check it out because they asked me about that whole thing, so I may do that.
Yeah, you really have you ever seen that stream on Friday night?
I've seen it sometimes. I've not watched the entire stream, but I've seen pieces of it occasionally. Yeah, so it seems it's like a pretty cool environment. So I'll check it out. Yeah. If you
really want to look at a very good episode, you need to see the episode with. They're all fantastic. With Razorfist, that was just the day that Kyle Rittenhouse was cleared of everything. And they celebrated and stuff. They're all very cool episodes. But Quarterback Garrett needs you, man. Hey, for the diversity, you know?
But oh, man. Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes. All right. Hey, speak to you later, man. Bye.
All right. Shout out to Geeks and Gamers. Yeah, I might have do that stream. I have seen some of that before. So shout out to them. And shout out to my man from the Netherlands calling in. Right by the bridge, they're going to dismantle for Jeff Bezos' yacht to come on through. All right, let's go to, all right, let's try 410. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, nice to talk to you. Hello to all the trolls. Last time I called, I live in Northern Virginia. Hello?
I'm here. Go ahead.
Yeah, last time I called, I live in Northern Virginia, but I got a 410 number, and so they were like, hey, man, 410's in Maryland, but I live in Virginia. Well, I've had the number for like freaking 20 years.
Yeah,
so.
don't worry about that. You know, because the comments are the comments. Don't worry about that, man. It's all good.
Anyway, so basically, I think I had COVID about a month ago. And to get tested, I would have had to go sit in a parking lot in Leesburg or Sterling, Virginia to get tested. Well, I got to work, and it was like a cold, so I was just the heck with it. You know, what am I going to do? I'm not sick. I got a cold, got to work, so that's what we did. So all of a sudden on the news, I see that you can go to the government and online and order self-at-home test kits. So I ordered 4 because everybody in the country, every household is allowed to get 4 test kits. My test kits arrived 2 days ago, and I'm going to read you off the box where the test kit came from. It's manufactured for Health Labs Incorporated, manufactured for Health Labs Incorporated in Sunnyvale, California, and it's made in China. So I've notified as many news outlets as I can, conservative news outlets, but we all know that they're spending tens or hundreds of millions of dollars on these test kits. I got my 4, and they're made in China. Are you kidding me? I mean, are we insane? We know where the virus came from, and now you're going to send me 4 test kits for my family, and it says right on the box they're made in China? I'm not putting that up my nose. Are you kidding me? These are going in the trash. I talked to my sister out in Seattle, and she's a big lid, got money, lives on Mercer Island, you know, right by Bill Gates, all that stuff. And she's like, well, don't throw it away. Just give it to the school, you know. Just give your 4 test kits to the school. I'm not giving these to anybody. I mean, this is pathetic, right? Check the box. If you ordered them online, I guarantee you that you will see made in China. Read the fine print. It goes on to say that this product, and I'm reading it off the box as we speak, this test does not determine if you have COVID-19 in the past or if you have immunity. This product has not been FDA cleared or approved, but has been authorized by FDA under emergency use authorization.
Wow.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. It really is. But I mean, you couldn't have expected anything else. Like, I knew as soon as you said the story, like as soon as you started the story, I knew where it was going. This is all we don't make anything here anymore. It's all made in China. So already, and you're right about that. It doesn't make any sense. We know where the virus came from. Nobody can deny that. I mean, we know what it is. So it's like a scam. Like, they unleashed this on us, and we're gonna go to them to help us get through it. And you gotta send them some money.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly. It's insanity.
Yeah, it is.
The world's insane right now. I just can't understand. It's terrible.
Well, thank you for your call, man. I appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, ABL.
All right, now.
Spread the word.
Don't
take your virus Joe Biden test kit.
All right, man. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. I pretty much, and you know what? Let's go all the way there though. Let's go ahead and just, since we here, let's go there. All the Q-tips and whatnot they put in your nose from China too. Also from China. It's all Chinese. Where's the Q-tip factory in the United States? It's all Chinese. They put it straight in your brain. Boom. You don't know where it came from. Let's get to some more here. Let's go to 215. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, how's it going?
It's all good, man. What's going on?
All right, can you hear me now?
I hear you well.
So basically, I listened to the last caller, and I'm not surprised that they would do that. The tool test kits would be made in China and shipped through California. I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all. Nothing's really surprising me too much anymore.
Nope. Same way. I'm not surprised at anything anymore. Some things,
Yeah.
when I am surprised, it's really something crazy, like out of this world, like almost impossible. Like if I was to see a pig start flying, I'd be a little bit surprised. But anything beyond that, not really.
Yeah, not really too much surprises me anymore. Even if I am surprised, I'm just like, should I really be surprised?
No.
I'm just like, nah, I really shouldn't be surprised too much. But just of hearing the fact that somebody was talking, they said that Nancy Pelosi is getting ready to retire. I said, now that, I ain't gonna lie, that was kind of a shocker. But then I figured something was up. I said, something's up. She's either going to get busted for something, or something's not going in her favor.
Well, she's too old. She's like 86. So, I mean, at a certain point, you can't live forever. So that's probably just her trying to not die in office. That's all.
That's just that's a good choice right there. She's not trying to be like Joe Biden. Well, she's older than Joe Biden, so.
She actually's 81. She'll be 82 in March. So she's up there.
Oh, okay. So she's pretty much getting up there then. But yeah, now that she's about to step down, seeing who's going to try to take her place. Rumors saying that it might be Trump, but then again, who knows? And it's funny. I still have people, everybody around here, the Omicron, the Megatron virus, everybody's still wearing those masks, and I'm gonna, and it's funny. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I ask everybody. I said, why are you still wearing a mask? I was like, yes, to protect me from COVID. They don't even know nothing about Omicron or Delta variant. They don't know. They ain't even seen it. The first thing they say is COVID. I said, and you're vaccinated. Well, no. You go, yes, I am vaccinated. I said, I just catch them in a lie every time. But then, what's funny? They bring up, oh, no, but we also have another variant. I was like, nah, that's not what you said the first time. You said COVID. That's why you're wearing a mask. Don't change it now. It's funny. I mean, I catch them. It's just, I'm looking at these people like, you poor souls. Like, even you don't believe this crap. You're just doing it because you're being told to at this point. And not most jobs around this way where I live they're not even enforcing it anymore. They don't even care. They don't care about the vaccine status or the masks.
Nah, it's pretty much over. It's over. Some people may still try to hold out, but I don't really understand why, because it's a wrap. It's over with.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And I'm just looking at them like, you poor soul. It's like, what are you trying to prove? It just makes me laugh at this point. And it's like, it's a waste of time at this point. Like, majority of jobs that go around, unless you're trying to apply to the hospital or something like that. But let's see how long that's going to last, because I can understand a hospital, but like most warehouse jobs, regular jobs, they don't even care about the masks anymore. Everybody's pretty much done with it.
Oh, yeah. 100% correct.
Yeah, but thank you for taking my call, ABL.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Have a good one.
Same to you now. Yeah, these jobs, they're not really caring too much about that mask anymore. People being there with their mask on side of their face like Joe Biden be doing, it's not really a big deal any longer. Maybe at one point it was, but no more. That's over with. Anybody doing that no more. All right, let's get to a few more here. And where we at? Let's do 869 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, you talking to Lori from back in the hills, ABL.
All righty, what's going on?
I didn't think I was going to get through tonight.
I got you on.
I kept trying and trying, aggravating. I knew I'd get through eventually. Anyway, I got triggered today when I started hearing about those smoke kits they were giving out. And they were trying to say they didn't have pipes in them. And I got to thinking, well, they probably got pipes in them and a couple little packets to go with it.
Probably so. I wouldn't doubt it because, I mean, if you're going to do all that, if you're going to give them all that, why not just go the whole mile and give them a little bit more?
That's right. And they're disposable kits. You go back, you say, I've used my kit and I need another one, and you get 2 more little packets with your kit.
That's right.
Does that make sense?
It sure does.
It sure does. Exactly. So I guess Biden's afraid that he's going to kill all the hobos and bums with the fentanyl on the streets. I thought maybe we were going to luck out and the fentanyl would kill them all off and we wouldn't have to be bothered with them anymore. But apparently Joe's decided he's going to save them.
Apparently so.
Apparently so. But what's going on with Biden? I thought he was the king of foreign policy. And here we are on the verge of war with Russia. What's going on with that?
I think that he's not necessarily who we thought or who they thought he was. He is who we thought he was, not a very competent person. And
did you say we?
Not us, but them. They thought he was competent, but we know what it was. We know that he was not a competent person.
Yeah. Do you think Trump would have let it go this far?
Oh no, not at all. I mean, when Trump was in office, everything was cool. North Korea wasn't a problem. Russia wasn't a problem. Everything was all right because they had respect for Trump. They didn't think he was just like an empty suit. But Joe Biden comes in there, he's pretty much a dead man walking. They don't really respect that guy. They do whatever they want.
That's right. Say Trump would have nipped this in the bud about a month ago, and it would have been all over with.
Yep.
It would have been all over with. But anyway, I was thinking about, you were talking about Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben and Land O'Lakes lady. I'm older, and every time I go into the store, I'm always looking for those brands. So, they're not there anymore.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
It's just as easy for me to buy the store brands now, and they're cheaper.
Exactly. I mean, what's the purpose? Like, why would I buy the Pearl Milling Company? What is that anyway? I might as well buy Great Value. I mean.
Right, or Kroger's or Food City.
That's right.
So they've got to be losing money.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they might as well just go ahead and close it up. Ain't no point in keeping it now because it ain't the same. Like, they built the brand, and then they changed the brand. It ain't the same no more. Just go ahead and fold up.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, the Quaker Oat man, he can go too.
Oh, yeah. Like, this just, if you want to get rid of them, go ahead and do it.
You can get rid of everybody.
Yep.
They can all go. All right. Well, I'm going to let you go. I'm glad you picked up my call tonight. Let's see, was there anything else I was needing to touch on? Let's see. We got the crack pipes. We got Biden. Let's see. We got Aunt Jemima. Let's see. Was there anything else in there? I think we touched base on everything.
All right. Well, thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, ABL. Oh, no, there is one more thing. We love it when you get the calls from the lefties because we see you sort of sit up real straight and you throw your shoulders back a little bit and we can just see you getting ready to take them on. And so the next thing we hear is, sir, sir, sir. And we just love it. All right, now I can go. Talk to you later.
All right, now, thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the call. Let's get to some more here. And I got time for a few more. Let's go ahead and get it rocking. Let's go to 516 on the line. Who am I speaking to? Oh, 516. I don't know what happened. But my phone just banged up. Okay, let's go to the next one. 804 on the line. Who am I speaking to? 804. Hello.
Hello. Is this Anthony?
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe I'm speaking to Anthony right now. I'm watching your YouTube video right now, and I saw your cell phone number.
Yeah, man. So what's happening? What's going on? You're live on the air?
Yes, I'm a big fan of your your YouTube channel. I watch Brandon Tatum. I watch Jericho Green, and I'm a huge fan of your guys' videos, and you guys make me laugh every single day. And I want to tell you that I saw a magazine called Newsweek, and I see these black conservatives on the cover of Newsweek, and that just makes me happy. And I'm so happy about my future generation because I'm in a college Republicans group, college Republicans at George Washington University, and there are a couple of black conservatives, that are leading the movement. So I'm super happy about my future, and I know that my generation is up. I'm being optimistic about my future generation. So I'm glad many black people are turning the shift to the Republican Party.
Oh, it's a great thing, man. I love to see it. Like what Newsweek did with the magazine cover. I did see that cover. That's fantastic. And I'm glad you're out there as a young man just really embracing it because we need more of that. They want to kind of give up on. They want to give up on young people. Say, "Oh, you guys don't know what's going on." But guys like yourself, you're aware of what's happening, and it's great to see.
Right, likewise. I mean, I've seen many Thomas Sowell videos, Walter Williams, these Black conservative intellectuals. Thomas Sowell has explained that fathers, somebody single-parent Black household because they didn't live with a single mother, didn't have a father growing up, partly because of the welfare state that was enacted in the 60s during the Lyndon Johnson's era Great Poverty Program. And he said that's why there's a breakdown of the nuclear family among the Black communities.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a serious problem, and if we can get back to some kind of normalcy with that, then I think we do a lot better for sure.
Right. And also, I heard some people saying, well, it wasn't the welfare state that was enacted; it was maybe the war on drugs that was enacted by Nixon in his campaign, or maybe Reagan in the 80s and late 70s. That's just why we see a breakdown of the Black family because of the war on drugs, because of Republican presidents. It wasn't because of this welfare state that was enacted. So I don't know, who's right and who's wrong. So.
Well, the problem was the welfare state, because what the welfare state did was remove the father from the household, you see, and a bunch of other problems happened as a result of the family breaking up. And when the drugs came in, there was so much violence because all these kids that were out there in poverty because they had just one parent a lot of times, no dad, no guidance. So it led into other problems. So you got to get down to the root of it, because when the drug war came along, things were not going very well already.
I didn't know that. Okay. And then maybe that's why you could see some of the Black people that are incarcerated now in prison at a higher rate, because, they didn't have these fathers, teaching moral lessons, and they didn't tell them they should comply with the police officers and all that stuff.
Yeah, because no respect for authority, no fathers, no leadership. And a lot of times, quite frankly, the mom's not even there either. The grandma's raising them. The grandma can't really do anything with them. So you got this young Black guy, he's 14, 15 years old. He's already pretty much in the street, full-blown gang member. And then he might die when he's 16, 17, or go to jail, and then the cycle repeats. That's what's going on.
Oh my gosh! Wow. So I am hopeful. I mean, there are many Black Republicans, that are, they grew up in a single mother without a father, like Byron Donalds, the House of Representative congressman from Florida, and many others. There's a senator from Georgia running for, I believe, senator who's running against Raphael Warnock. I forgot his name. Kelvin, and he grew up without a father. So I'm really happy that I'm here. I'm seeing this movement.
Yeah, hopefully, we can just get this movement going, because, there's still hope for people that had that type of environment, that type of growing up, that type of upbringing. But the way things had been going, or are going in Democrat cities and a lot of these left control areas, that's unsustainable. We got to get back to what works.
What do we know about the story incident so far about this young black person that was shot in Minneapolis? Do we know any news stories about that happened on February 2nd?
Now, I've seen some things about that, but what I know is that the main thing that I know before anything else is that there was a warrant or something for that arrest. And I was talking about this earlier. What I was always told as a kid was, be careful of the company that you keep. Because if you're around people that are involved with drugs and guns and violence, you could be in a dangerous situation, whether it be from the police, whether it be from just, other gang members, guys on the street that got a problem with you. That can be a problem. Just a quick story. Just like when Tupac got shot, the thing with Tupac, he had beat somebody up, I think earlier that night or somewhere close to that particular time. And the guy that got beat up, okay, this is a real person. They got friends, they got family. So, okay, now they got to go find him to do something to him. These are gang members. You can't beat me up like that in Vegas. It's embarrassing. So then they go find him, and then they shoot him in the car, allegedly. His name was Orlando Anderson. Now, if anybody was in the car with Tupac, now they're dead too, or they're shot too, or they're at least in danger, all because of what bad thing Tupac had did that night. You see what I'm saying? When you're involved in that kind of world, when you're involved in that kind of environment, you could become a victim, even if it's not necessarily your fault. but you're there, so now you're part of it.
Interesting. Another question I've always had in mind. Throughout the 60s or 50s, in the southern states, they're run by the Southern Democrats. Like Governor George Wallace, who was a staunch Democrat, staunch segregationist. And then when John Lewis was fighting for the people, he wanted blacks to have equal rights as their white counterparts. Why is it that back then, when John Lewis was young, he was fighting for black people like Martin Luther King? Why wasn't he a Republican congressman? Why was he always been a Democrat when he was in Alabama or Georgia fighting for black people when it was under Democratic leadership from those southern states back in 60 years ago? Why didn't he become a Republican?
Well, when he got into politics, when he became a House rep, it was already in the 80s. You see what I'm saying? Like when he was a MLK, this is in the 60s and the 50s probably. But when he became a politician, you're talking about 1987. So by that time, it was unpopular for a black person to be anything other than a Democrat. So he wanted to maintain the legacy of being with MLK. And at the same time, he wants to appease the black community down there in Georgia. So that's all that was. It was just a matter of, that's just what it was back then, to be a Democrat. And it's still that way to this day.
But back then, when he said it was back then to become a Democrat, it was mostly white people that were Democrats because they were staunch segregationists. So if the white governors were Democrats, why wasn't he a Republican?
Nah, but see, he became a politician in 1987. Though he was in Martin Luther King in the 50s and the 60s. So there was a big time difference in between that. By the time he became a politician, in order for him to become a politician, you had to be one way. And then he probably was already thinking. And then also, let's think about Martin Luther King right quick. Martin Luther King had some communist points of view as well, and in the 50s. So if John Lewis is thinking about that kind of stuff being legitimate, and he kind of goes into it, and it's 30 years later, now you're a politician, you're gonna be a Democrat because you want to be part of the black community, all this, that, and the third. That's kind of how it was. Now he could have been conservative, but he chose to go the other direction, probably because it was more popular at that time to be that way, and it's still like that to this day.
So do you think because many black people that are part of the Democratic Party, they follow this trend that's going on? They just become Democrats because it's quote unquote popular? That's why they don't focus on other parties' policies, what they stand for?
Well, I think it's just now it's become a cultural thing. It's not culturally acceptable to go the other direction. And there's a lot of media, they're doing their job as far as brainwashing people. And they're thinking that if you are a Republican and you're a racist. So it's cultural, it's brainwashing, and it's years of time that have passed. So now it's just the thing to be a Democrat if you're a black person. But guys like yourself are starting to change it, and I like that. But I got to end the show right there. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
I love listening to your videos all the time, man. I really do.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. But that will be a wrap for me tonight. Thank you all for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. I'll be back live again on Wednesday and Saturday. Of course, I'm always live, and I'm putting out my pre-recorded videos all throughout the week, Monday through Saturday, pre-recorded, usually 2 a day if I got enough topics. But that'll be a wrap. Thank you for joining yet again. If you like what you heard in the show, please give the video a thumbs up. If you listen to me on your favorite audio streaming platform, give me a 5-star rating, a review, whatever you can. I most certainly appreciate it. And let's go ahead and get to the remaining super chats, and then I'll wrap it on up, put the boat on top. Now let's go back to, okay. Shout out to Anthony McQuaid, who says, love this chat and the ABL live stream. So much support. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Okay. And you wanted to be a mod. Okay, I got you, boss. Don't say less. Let's go ahead and make you a mod. All right. Perfect. All right. Thank you to Blast Radius, who says, AJW is a YouTuber named Actual Justice Warrior, and he has asked Hunter Avalon to debate multiple times, and he keeps hiding. AJW is a good dude who knows his stuff. You should check him out. Check out his videos. We'll do. Let me see. Let's go to Apple, who says, ABO, have you been to San Diego? No, I've not. And I may go there to see what's going on, but you know, if it's dangerous and you got crackheads everywhere, I'm good money. I'm cool on that. I ain't trying to do that. I think it's Wolfgang who says the NWA is a morpheme, a sound we make. Why do we treat that one especially bad? Whereas China, I could write. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there. You got to be specific. You're beating around the bush. Is it the N word? I don't know. Also, Wolfgang says, if you don't watch Rogan, then why care? DLA says the point is censorship. Just because you don't agree with something doesn't mean you have the right to prevent others from hearing it. Wolfgang says, I find this whole black-owned thing odd. Unless it's a German restaurant, why would I say German-owned? It's like some racists that want someone else. Racists wants what someone else has, and the complaints about don't get it to them. The black-owned thing, that's like, it's almost like made in America, kind of. It's like if you want to support the black community, you go to a black-owned establishment to support them that way. That's all that it is. Thank you to Monique Price, who says, hi, ABL. Would you say a few words about this annoying, quote, support black business stuff happening every February? Well, really, as far as the Black History Month stuff, February, that's just companies trying to, and that's them just trying to market to that. It's like what happens on Valentine's Day and stuff like that. It's just market. Christmas, same thing. They're marketing toward a day to make money. They don't really care necessarily about supporting black business. They don't really care. They're not gonna be wearing no kente cloth all throughout the year. They don't even own the kente cloth. They're going to order that on Amazon straight from China, put it on for the month, and then come February 28th, they're taking it off. Leap year or no leap year, taking it off February 28th, and then going back to the next thing. Okay, what's the next thing? Arbor Day? Okay, put on a bag of dirt and call that a wrap. It's all about money at the end of the day. Marketing for consumers. Thank you to Anthony McQuaid, who says, I'd like to thank you, ABL, in the chat for its support of your live stream. Would love to be a mod. Thank you, ABL. I got you, boss. No problem. You're already a mod right now. I think I just did that before this. What versus Windshield says, Biden just said, sure, food and gas are the things you need, but it's children's health care we are really working on. Really? Is that what he said? Really? Using kids again? Exactly. The white community says Trading Places movie explained white privilege. That's a hilarious name, the white community. Turk Longwell says, lots of Civil War talk these days. I served in the Marines. All war is a bad idea, but I fear the left Democrats will trigger the effect when Trump wins. That ain't going to happen. I don't think so. It's not, I don't think that we are there. I don't believe so. F. Ranger Xbox says, the CEO of Moderna dumped 400 million stock and then deleted his Twitter account. Well, I think he knows what's going on. Bob K. MIT says, Putin's 1.3 billion boat left Germany yesterday unexpectedly and moved to Russia. He didn't want it seized if he invades. Can't call him dumb. Well, there you go. Bob versus Windshield says, China made test kits. As I think compared to the Taliban, they blew up the World Trade Center and FJB gave them $5 billion in military aid. Not surprised. Thank you to Pamela White, who says, everybody needs to take a deep breath because Canada people leading globally, it's larger than BLM. All lives matter. A virus. We must chill, see how Trudeau responds. Thank you to L Boogie, who says, do you think Putin will hold that Hunter laptop information over Biden's head if he so pushes U.S. into conflict with Russia like 4D chess? Well, it's already out there. We already know what's on the laptop. We already seen everything on there. I'm not sure what else is going to be on it. I'm not sure what smoking gun is going to exist on a laptop that we've not already seen. And I wish I could unsee some of that stuff that I've seen, but I can't. So it is what it is. I need the Men in Black, the little thing right there. Like, I want to forget all that. But anyway, thank you to Apple, who says, my drill rap stage name is Lil Bit. Great show, ABL. Thank you to Megan, who says, Democrats taken over by the criminals. Correct. Well, same thing. Democrats, criminals. Anyway, thank you to Mitch, who says, Hunter thinks a smoking kit comes with a fire extinguisher, some fire blankets, and a smoke alarm. Thank you to Wolfgang, who says, it was messed up to only think about one group for a single month. However, why they give the Black shortest month? 31 days would have been better. Happy Black History Month to y'all. Personally, I don't really care because I look at, I'm a buff. I'm a history buff. So I don't really care about 1 month or nothing. I study every day about everything. Everything. like during a live stream, you guys don't even see what I'm doing. I'm like looking at the globe and looking at geographic formations. Like I'm studying, I'm just a big nerd. I don't care nothing about no month to learn. If you need a month to open the book and read, then you're not going to be necessarily Captain IQ. Your IQ is not really going to be in the top. It is what it is, and that's fine. You might need to go work on cars, but I'm getting offensive now, so I'm sorry. I'm gonna digress. Thank you all for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. Shout out to the mechanics. You guys are fantastic. Dealing with these computers and stuff like that, and you guys have my truck running perfectly. So shout out to the mechanics. Nothing against y'all, but you guys are fantastic. Thank you guys for being here. Couldn't do it without you. I'll be back live again on Wednesday. And shout out to the mods for doing what they do. I appreciate y'all. But that will be a wrap. And until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.